All right. And we are live. The last word. LordCognito, Ebontis, Ty Guy Travis, fresh on that Thursday evening campfire. Got a lot to talk about. The root and nightmares and all type of things going on and easy mode and people want receipts for clears. It's a fun week, y'all. Let's start with the cheetah. How we doing, man?
I'm doing good. Had a fun weekend. Um, Enjoyed the raid experience. Did get our clear, which we'll obviously talk about how it went for everybody and everybody's times and stuff like that. But I got my first contest emblem. You know, even if it does have a giant asterisk on it, I could care less. I got my first one and enjoyed it. Um,
Is
but
the
yeah,
asterisk just that the raid wasn't that hard? Is that the
Why?
I
rest?
mean
Yeah, what's the asterisk?
that's
Oh,
That's
but
not
we'll
really an asterisk, man. I
oh.
mean, Deepstone Crypt, I got that one. That's kind of, wasn't that hard either.
we'll get
so.
into that whole discussion and everything, but able to pair up with the raid group that I started with Val and been lucky enough to play with them a couple times. So we got the contest, and then at Tuesday, knocked out a couple. We'll definitely have thoughts about the raid, and then kind of enjoying watching Galeron jump off a ledge over and over and over and over. I'm abusing the hell out of that right now. So
I
we'll get
saw
into
the
those.
video. I saw the video
Yeah.
go up. I said, "Oh, he knows what's going on."
I was doing that last night with Mano for like a couple hours. So
Shout out to the Destra, no doubt. No doubt.
Travis, what have you been doing besides pumping out that IGN first coverage, sir? How you doing?
Yeah. I'm doing good, man. I finished up my Destiny review. I've been just playing a lot of Destiny. I'm kind of in like a mode where, reconnecting with my roots, playing a lot of it. Just, it's good. It's
With
good.
your roots, you could say.
My roots of Nightmare. No, but yeah, I'm doing a lot of content for them because I'm writing their raid guide for IGN and stuff like
Nice.
that.
Oh,
So
you're
I've just
still
been playing a
working.
little bit. Yeah, and then IGN first. If you like Destiny, there's maybe a chance you'll like Remnant 2, which is fondly called the Souls-like with guns in their community, and they're releasing their sequel game, which I played a ton of down in Austin, Texas, last month or something like last month. It's really exciting stuff. So you can find about that. And then my next review is Diablo 4.
Ooh, oh, the
Which
hits keep coming.
which
Oh, he's the
is
hottest review at IGN now. Let's just give you
gonna
the
be
title
fun.
now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I got this. I thought for sure McCaffrey would be reviewing it or something, but I guess everybody's busy. Maybe because it's around E3 time. I don't really know, but I'm reviewing it, and the reason I'm telling you that now is because IGN is starting our process early. We're actually going to do basically a review in progress after the beta. So the beta has 2 weekends, and it's 1/5 of the game. It's 25 levels. It's one world boss. It's a bunch of content that represents a huge chunk of that game. And if you played a lot of Diablo as I did, then you'll kind of understand that, usually it's 5 acts, and you can kind of get a sense for how the game is. So we're going to be doing like a beta impressions the week after the open beta, which is 2 weekends, the weekend after next. It should be cool. So yeah, really busy, but happy to be hanging out with Destiny folk, especially while so many people are playing and enjoying or not enjoying Destiny right now.
Hey,
So
I got my
chaotic world.
Chick-fil-A sandwich. Not Chick-fil-A, I'm sorry. I got my KFC sandwich.
You're double down.
No, see, I did not do the
KFC.
double down. If you look at the
Okay.
app, all it is you just have to get one of the sandwiches. So you don't have to go crazy and get like the double down heart attack. I just got a chicken sandwich, and it still counts.
Yeah, I hate to tell you this, but they sent double down sandwiches to my house with the beta codes. So your boy has eaten almost half of a double down sandwich, and
did you have to take like a bear nap afterward, like hibernate and kind of work it off a little bit afterwards?
I'll be honest, guys, and I know this is going to ruin my street credentials, but I ate it with a fork and a knife.
Whoa, that's too fancy. That's like busting out like.
Yeah, what are we doing here, sir? What are we doing
Here's
here,
the
sir?
thing, Cog. I don't know. I mean, you're black, so I assume you have a great skin regimen. And I right? Cocoa butter is that your
Shea
preferred?
butter,
I don't
sir.
know.
Shea,
Shea butter.
butter.
Okay,
You gotta
great,
keep it-
awesome.
you gotta keep
So
it
that's
smooth.
great. So that's great. Have you ever eaten something that required you to get grease around your face?
Oh,
And then
yeah.
no matter what you wash it on, unless you put yourself under Dawn like you're a seagull caught in oil,
Mhm.
you're gonna just have that grease around your mouth, and that it gives acne, all this other stuff, and so
Where we
that
going?
thing is so big. If you push it up against your face, it gets grease everywhere. And I'm not trying to, I'm very vain. I can't have I
So
can't
he
show
has
up in
to
the last
like get
order
the
with a bunch of-
fork and knife. He's got to be all dainty and be
Yeah.
like, "Don't touch my don't touch my face." Just like,
I
It's very-
can't just I can't
very
I can't just
particular.
show up with acne all around my mouth because I insisted on pressing fried meat up against my face.
See,
You
the
know what I mean?
other
It's
side
just-
of
it's-
this
This
is
is
like the
Ty guy.
actual.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the other side of this is like it actually might have moisturized your face a little bit, so you would have actually had a little more life in that lower part of
You
your
think
face.
there's moisture in there?
There's
That is not
oils.
moisture. That is toxic oil.
This is
Toxic
dude,
chemicals.
bro.
This is bougie. I wear a suit and
Grow a
tie.
beard.
I cannot
Oh
have
no.
the fragrances, all the
no.
things mess up my attire talk. That's what this is.
Yeah.
This is that picky in the air talk. I feel you though. Continue with your knife and fork
Yeah.
with your sandwiches.
No, I mean, that's my whole story.
It's
I
like
with a knife and
ordering
fork. I
vomit.
didn't feel good about it. Like I was like, this is not the way it's supposed to be meant. But look, I didn't order the sandwich. It came to me.
Oh,
right?
that's how we do it.
Two of them.
You chose
okay?
to eat it, sir. That's your choice.
When in Rome, look, in some religions, it's it's a sin to throw away food. So who am I? People starving in the street, and I'm gonna turn my hand away.
You
and,
basically like an entire chicken shows up on your doorstep. You're like, all right, fine. I guess I'll eat it, but I got to be dainty
Yeah.
about it.
I'm gonna turn my chin at 4 chickens showing up at my house. It's just
Well,
not.
it's about what it takes to make
not
that
done.
sandwich.
E, can you pass the Palatter all fruit, sir? Could you pass?
Yeah. Do you have any Grey Poupon?
No, yes. You have
Hey,
look.
He's over here like taking it. He's got like a garlic aioli that he homemade whipped up or something to dip it into.
Oh yeah.
He's
You
sitting
guys
there, got his
remember-
little tea, and he's got his pinky up while he finishes the tea sip, while he finishes his
Guys,
double down sandwich. Like, oh my god.
I swear to God, I am down to earth and I'm not bougie like most San Franciscans. I swear to you. In
All
fact, I
come
make
together.
fun of San Franciscans
Are
for
you
doing
kidding?
things like,
We ate it like when
scooping
we
their
went out in
bagels.
Florida. You're like, oh, no, this is too good. I would.
bro, I'm from California. Burrito. I have standards when it comes
No,
to
but it's
burritos.
like,
I'm
all
sorry.
this. What did we look up the restaurants and like breakfast places on on Google, and he's like the Google reviews. It's like, man, everything's like 4s, 4.7s, 4.8s. It's like people in San Francisco, like these aren't real reviews. People in San Francisco are like 3.5. At least I know that's a realistic. Nothing has that kind of review in Texas or Florida, and you guys are out there like, we're gonna give this IGN. We're gonna give it a 4. We're gonna use the full point scale. San Francisco's the only city that uses the full 10-point scale on food.
All right, guys. Upon closer examination and in response to what you said, I'm changing my position. I am in fact a pretentious prick, and I'm sorry. I give up. You're right. Okay, I'm sorry. That said, I like street food, and I would not have eaten this thing with a fork and knife if I didn't have to.
You bougie, but you come to the hood every now and then and associate with us.
I came from the hood, sir. Oh man, I'm really hating this. I eat chitlins, and I know you don't. So
I know,
get out
that's
of here
true.
with
I
that.
know what
I
that
eat
is.
chitlins. Chitlins
He's
is pig
chitlins.
intestine.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
You can go ahead with that. But
I eat
salute,
that.
salute.
I'm
That's
all
official.
about that soul food. So what's up?
Okay, somebody got to
do
tell
you-
me what this is now.
Oh, you don't know what chitlins?
Chitlins.
I don't know what
It's
it is.
Pork intestines.
Pork
Pig
intestine,
intestines.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're pretty. I mean, they're great. They were a kind of regular food where I came from, but other people find them insane and do not eat them. And the fact that Cog doesn't eat them, and I think King David on your show also said he doesn't eat them, and I was like, "Yo, you guys aren't like."
Yeah,
on
I'll
my
do
level.
every other stereotype,
Like-
but that one.
Okay, somebody explain this to me, because like I've been trying to be a little
Mm-mm.
healthier and
Yes.
trying to get a lot more greens in my diet. Why is it always when you go to, because I mean Texas, we have Southern cooking and stuff down here. Why is it always that one lumps into what is the deal with collard greens?
Collard greens are amazing.
Oh, collard greens,
No,
bro.
but like what makes them better than so many different other types? Why is that always a thing that's on them? I'm curious. Like
Cog, do
I'm
you
not a
wanna
big
take
green
this
eater.
one?
I don't do
Yeah, I
salads,
mean,
but like I'll do
collard
sauteed
greens-
greens.
collard greens is definitely part of the soul food family. I mean, that is
How are they cooked?
tradition. I mean, well, I would defer to Trav on the cooking part, but as far as like the culture of soul food, you always have that. You have the mac and cheese. You have a good meal that's
Steamed.
surrounding
That
that.
sounds so
Yeah,
boring though.
steamed.
Just steamed.
Yeah.
No. They're not boring. They're not boring. They are the perfect side. And I mean, come on, it's soul food. They're seasoned usually.
Yes.
But even if they're not, honestly, it's like, have you ever had like really good cooked spinach where like it just like hit that spot and it was like a greenest green you could possibly find?
Yeah,
Collard greens are those giant dark green leaves. Like it's
I've seen them in the store.
Yeah, and they're amazing. And like the way you cook them is you just kind of get them all like dirty. Like a lot of soul food is about like deconstructing the food until it's in its most dirty form, and then you serve it, and then it's terrible for you, but it's amazing. Soul food's my favorite.
I love soul food.
Actually,
I gotta take you to a soul food. When you come up, E, let me know.
There's a place by me. I'll have to send you afterwards. Called Roots Southern Table.
Let's go. I like that name.
I mean they're famous for their fried chicken. Their family fried chicken is like a $60 entree. It's like fine dining Southern cooking. It's kind of it's a cool little place.
My favorite soul food place. So the neighborhood I grew up in Oakland, right? It was really bad. I grew up in Oakland in the 90s. It was like terrible neighborhood, right?
Yeah, Oakland was
and then
no joke.
I went back there now to the area that I used to like walk through. And it's all like skyscrapers. It's like financial district, and it looks great. It's like so gentrified now, completely different place. But there's this one place I always went to. It was called World Famous Hot Boys. It's like this that black dome, like brick and mortar.
Wrong.
Yeah, I know it does. But dude, it's just like this tiny brick and mortar location in the middle of this, this neighborhood. And I just assumed it was gone because I was like, there's no way this neighborhood, everything is so tall now. And it was just like a really small store. I was like, no way, but it's still there. And it's in the middle of all this crazy, like giant industry going on around it.
When there's a bunch of skyscrapers and like the up house is still sitting there or something.
It's literally just like one single story building and all of these skyscrapers around it. And it has line around the block still. It's still there. And so I try to go there as often as possible. It's amazing. So that's if you guys come to SF or a Niners game or whatever, we've got to go there.
Yeah.
E, if you ever come to New York,
I was going to say to Alvin, just thank you for the $5 super chat. Wanted to call it out. Ebontis is a true solo player. Haven't rated since D1 TTK. It is worth getting back into him. I'll tell you, even with some LFGs, you'll find some decent groups. Appreciate your guides and videos. Have soloed all dungeons except Duality. Awesome.
Yeah. Now, E, if you ever come up to NY, I got to take you to Sylvia's, baby. Sylvia's is the official soul food spot in New York, Harlem, New York City. I see. Oh, but man, Bronx Matt mentioned it, bro. I gotta take you some real soul food, bro. You've never experienced it.
I will try, like, not real. I mean, but there's also certain things like fried chicken or something like that. That's not really appealing to me either. So it was like I'd try it, but like just couldn't judge me if I wasn't a fan because I'm a picky ass eater anyway. So we know that.
We know you picky, but we gotta try.
Honestly, I'd be willing to bet you'd love collard greens. I'd be willing to bet. It's just
trying to incorporate more greens, but I've never liked salads, mostly because I hate salad dressing. I don't like the vinegar. Yeah, I don't like ranch. So that basically.
So you gotta eliminate salad. Like you can't have salad.
Yeah, like I don't like salad, but I'm trying to get greens in, and I like cooked greens, like sautéed greens. We'll take like a mix of different greens and saute them and cook them up.
You don't like vinegar?
No.
Really?
Not really. I mean, there's some sauces that have it in it, like barbecue or other things that do, but just normal vinegar? No.
Trav, what are we gonna do with him? This is we gotta
literally like he hurt me because salads are my favorite food. How are you just gonna say you don't like salads? There's like 90 different versions of salad.
Okay,
that's such a broad stroke. It's like potato salad, macaroni salad.
Don't like it. Don't like it. Those are all based on mayo. Okay, those are all based on mayo, and I don't like mayo.
Fruit salad.
That
Come
I will
on,
do. Fruit salad I can do. Fruit salad I can do.
Caesar.
No
Caesar.
What? God damn.
Who hurt you, bro? Who hurt you like
Oh
this?
my
No,
God.
William Prescott. No, that's the thing is like I know iceberg is just like crunchy water, but no, it's like and recently what I'm trying to do is I'll get like I've got Napa cabbage, I'll get a couple different types of greens, like a mix of like radicchio and a couple other things, and I'll dice them up small. So it's like a very fine dice, and then I'll saute them in a pan with just like a little olive oil, salt, and pepper. I've done it that way, and then also do like kind of an Asian green where it's a little bit of soy sauce, a little bit of hoisin sauce for a little kind of like...
Soy sauce qualifies?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I like how he likes to say, like, you see how he says yes so
No,
logically?
but
like yes, of course.
And now I never said I hate all sauces.
So soy sauce quality? This is mind-blowing.
Now, here's the thing that will probably make everybody on the podcast listening to this just like write in and blow me up on Twitter. I've found like one sushi roll that I kind of like. So I will go to sushi with my wife. But I don't like a lot of sushi, much less most of it. But most of the time with sushi, everybody's like, all right, here's the soy sauce. You dunk the sushi in the soy sauce and then eat it. I've watched my wife do this for years.
Okay.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like soy sauce just by itself.
Yo, that woman love you. That
I know
woman
she
love
does.
you.
Believe me, 100%.
Yo, you are a problem, bro. Like you have an instruction manual. Like you are the hardest raid.
Yeah,
at dinner.
and you lost half the pages because nobody can understand it.
You got mechanics. Yo, he is wild. That is crazy. So you can't even dip it in the...
No, but I've started asking for teriyaki. That's kind of like my close because it's I like that flavor more.
I'm sorry to say this, but that is aggressively Caucasian. Really, everything you just said. It's just it's almost a hate crime how white that is. It's too much, my friend.
Yeah. Okay. So Gary to Brown and Chatty's like, my brother's the same way. My whole life he eats everything plain, no condiments, and that is me because that was the hilarious thing about Constellation. This week, one of the topics was ketchup. And I got to that point, I was waiting for it to come up because Colin is like a ketchup lover. Now, he won't take it to a fine dining restaurant. He does draw the line there, and thank God.
Yes.
But he's like, but also on the other side, he's like, they had the hilarious debate because they're like, absolutely hates mustard. Now, I hate all of them, which is fine, but it was so funny to see the divide between yes, ketchup, no mustard, vice versa. Colin loves ketchup on lots of things, and then Maddie is just like
over more than me.
And Maddie's the other side where he's like, I don't want like this cold ketchup on my just fresh cooked eggs, and he's ruined it. And trust me, my whole entire like in-law side of the family will put ketchup on scrambled eggs, and I'm like, no. So that was a hilarious part to listen. Yeah, if you guys don't catch Constellation, please go listen to that one.
Yeah, Constellation is good.
But no, I was like. Yeah, I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, I would just be a whole wrench into that. I would extend that podcast an hour if they just asked me questions about my eating habits. Mustard can go straight in the trash. Yeah.
He said he eat chicken nuggets by themselves. No sweet and sour, bro.
I will do a barbecue. I've probably sweet and sour's okay. That's probably where I'm kind of like, meh.
Okay, all right. It's progress.
Lumpia.
What?
Lumpia.
What are you saying? Lumpia? I don't know.
Are you hearing this? Are you part of the same conversation
I'm
as me?
listening.
What is happening?
What is this word?
Oh my god.
What is this word?
Oh
Sorry,
my
guys.
God.
The Destiny raid chat will get here, but
we will get to Destiny, y'all, in a second, y'all.
I don't know if we can go down this. Like, you don't know.
Vagabando says I put butter on his scrambled eggs. Now, I will tell you, if you put butter in a pan and make your eggs in there, yeah, that's good, but that's just like using a certain fat to cook eggs. That's not like I'm going to put a knob of butter on top of the cooked eggs. I'm not going to do that.
So you like pancakes?
Of course.
Do you like pancakes with syrup?
Yes.
You have syrup on pancakes?
Yes.
You drown it? You actually put it on top?
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't want them like swimming.
I knew it.
But I do enjoy the flavor of syrup. Yeah, I do enjoy like syrup, but I was like,
what about you're Southern, right? What about chicken and waffles?
Yeah, I could do that.
Put syrup on your chicken and waffles and hot sauce?
Not hot sauce.
Yeah, I can be hot sauce. Relax.
No.
Relax. That's too much for him. It's too much. No hot sauce. I can see that.
How do you not though? I feel like then it's just you're just turning.
My wife makes up for it. Okay, she's the one eating like the Torchy's queso that's got the habanero sauce mixed in it, and she's enjoying all that stuff. So
God bless her.
God bless. She loves that man. I'm
Ask her what lumpia is.
Lumpia. I'm gonna Google it right now. If you guys won't freaking help me,
great, bro.
Lumpia. As long as I'm
GK Balls. Don't even ask about Mexican food. We've been in that chamber with him.
Yeah, we've been
there. Spring rolls. Okay.
They're not spring rolls, bro. Oh my god.
LUMPIA. It's our various types of spring rolls commonly found in the Philippines and Indonesia. That's what it says.
Wow.
Crepe-like pastry skin, lumpia wrapper.
I would describe that as a pretty reductionist definition, actually.
Well, then you can blame Google.
I will. I'll be laying a very sternly worded letter at their doorstep later.
Pizza
this
is not
evening.
too spicy. I will do pepperoni on my pizza.
Okay. Pineapple.
Actually, yeah, I will do pepperoni. I will do
That's
pepperoni.
actually a controversial one. A lot of people don't like.
No, it's like
pineapple.
I will do pepperoni and pineapple because I kind of like the sweet and spice. I don't do it often, but every so often I'm like,
Okay.
yeah, I'll do a little pepperoni and pineapple. Not often. Normally it's just pepperoni.
Wow.
I feel like E is only like 30 seconds away from telling us that yogurt is too spicy for him.
No, see, I don't mind spice. That's the thing. Like spices, I'm not so much against. It's usually like vinegar-based sauces, which is I mean, that's kind of one of those things. So like hot sauce, salad dressing, vinegar-based things where the vinegar is noticeable. Usually, I kind of walk away. That's why things like teriyaki or barbecue, it's covered up enough where I don't really get it.
So sweet seems to be okay.
Yeah, and that's my wife. Yeah,
That's what
sweets,
I'm
I will
learning.
tend to lean
Okay,
into
sweet.
sweets. Yeah.
Okay, I'm learning
He's
that.
got
And
a
now
sweet tooth, and so
Always have had a sweet tooth.
here's what I've learned about E. He has the exact taste of an 8-year-old boy. He has like they haven't changed at all.
Bro, that's
It's
what I
literally-
said.
I could walk my
he'll
wife
eat
in here and she
he'll
would
eat pancakes
100%
with
agree
syrup.
with you.
Yeah,
Sweet, all
it's
the
like
fun stuff.
literally.
Yes.
If a kid is
Yes!
told not to eat it
Yes!
as a kid, E
Yes.
likes it.
He likes it.
Yeah, doesn't like salads.
If my
Yes,
brother
he
listened to this, he's going to be rolling on the floor laughing.
Bro.
My
Yeah.
wife would understand. The
He
8-year-old in
hasn't
me
been-
is... Yeah.
Yeah, the 8-year-old hasn't been disciplined to eat what you were supposed to eat. And you've been allowed to grow up into this man that has not eaten these things you're supposed to eat.
That's it. That's it.
No one stopped your madness early.
That's it. He
Well, you
didn't
want to
have
know
a
why they didn't stop my
disciplined
madness?
household.
Apparently, I
He didn't
threw
have
up when I was
discipline.
younger, so that's why.
Oh,
so
they
I
got
didn't like it
scared.
so
They were
much;
like,
it was
okay.
coming back. So
They were weak. They were
What
weak.
because what it is, a
Yeah.
lot of us as kids, I used to be like that on some level, where mentally we put ourselves in a thing where it's like, oh, if I had that, it's gonna be disgusting. And as your taste buds evolve and you try it, you're like, okay, it's not that bad. I survived. Because some things, either the look or the texture in our mind, we think, yo,
cottage cheese, I
that's
will probably
gotta
I
go.
will never touch cottage cheese. Looks disgusting.
see looks.
I
See?
won't even
See?
touch. Like looks,
I
texture.
got it.
Nuh-uh.
I got it. Mm-hmm.
We
Like,
figured it out. We cracked the case. We cracked the
code.
case.
Good job,
8-year-old.
Trav. Good job.
There we
Trav.
go. We figured it out.
All right.
Oh,
Well, I
last
hope
one.
the
GK Bowl.
spaghetti.
though. I gotta
Yes,
ask.
spaghetti.
Spaghetti
Absolutely. Yes.
sauce, tomato
Marinara
sauce?
sauce. Yes.
Ev-
Absolutely.
yeah, of course.
Marinara
Kids eat
sauce.
spaghetti.
Pizza.
Kids eat spaghetti.
Pizza. Spaghetti.
Yeah,
marinara.
Oreos.
Chef Boyardee, bro. That's what he's at.
Fun
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
This has been the root of nightmares. This conversation right here is the root of my nightmares for sure.
Well,
He's the
I
final boss.
hope all of you guys stayed around long enough to make it through. Yeah, the Earth Sauce comment has returned.
I'm so glad it has because I have not forgotten about Earth Sauce.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, we did actually play some Destiny in the past week. Besides Alfredo, I'm not a fan of Alfredo.
He's just gonna be answering food questions.
I know.
I
If
don't
you
know,
guys
yeah.
hear random food, dino nuggets and ketchup, nope. I'll do the nuggets, no ketchup. Yeah. So, Raid, Root of Nightmares. It dropped on Friday. I know how I went in, but I kind of want to get your guys' takes. Like, when was your first experience, and how did it go? Travis, I kind of want to get yours because I know you were looking to do that so you could finish up your review.
Yeah, so I had to work on Friday. I was writing stuff. I was working on other projects. I think I had IGN first stuff I was working on as well. And so, what's funny is every year for the raid, people ask me, Travis, what's your team for the raid? And every year I give them the same answer, which is, I don't really have one yet, but it usually works out. And every year I've had one. Every year Travis has been like, all right, we've got a team. We're going to practice together. We're going to do raids before. The raid has not gone well. It's like been like one of my hardest raids. And I think when I work with teams where there's a lot of pressure on it, it just never comes together for whatever reason. So this year I did the exact opposite. I did exactly what I did with Deepstone Crypt, which is like, I didn't prep at all and I didn't even have a team. So I got finished working and I figured things will work themselves out, right? I'll find a team who wants to play with me or something. And then somebody messaged me, hey, trying to raid? And I was like, yeah. And I went in. We started at 7 p.m. Pacific, California time, and we were done by midnight. It was great. I got through with it in 5 hours. It was not super hard. We were sort of just figuring out the encounters and getting our stuff together. It took like maybe hour, 90 minutes per encounter, right? And then we'd move on to the next one and start it over again. And yeah, I mean, we had a fun time. It obviously isn't the best raid Destiny's ever done. It's definitely not the hardest raid Destiny's ever done, but it's really hard to beat that new raid feel, right? Even when it's just good, not great. It's a new raid, new environments, new story, new bad guy that we're getting taunted from, which was super cool. I also got to find out that entire time that I was correct about the location. I remember I tweeted at you that
Yeah,
I
saw it
predicted
and
that
basically
I
nailed
predicted that a day before Lightfall came out, once they showed the launch trailer, I predicted that the raid was going to take place on that pyramid ship with the plants everywhere.
Yeah, I
And
saw your old tweet.
I nailed it. Yeah. So,
Ooh.
yeah, it was a fun experience for me. And I was sort of like right at the tail end of my review. I had done everything else in Destiny up to that point, everything else I needed to play for Lightfall. And then I was able to just write the review that night. I added a couple paragraphs about the raid and then sent it off. And then I had the rest of my weekend to kind of hang out, which sometimes doesn't happen on raid weekends. Sometimes I'm like beating my head against the wall for like 36 hours and then I take a nap and then I come back and beat it. And it was nice to just have low pressure. So I was happy as a reviewer. It was great because I didn't have to sweat it out. I just sort of went in and busted it and then went out. So it was cool. Yeah, it was fun.
What about you? How was your experience just on the general? When first did you jump in?
Yeah, well, started late. I had little issues. One thing about I gotta say this. One thing about Destiny. It's funny what Travis said about like the set team and everyone is ready to go, and that one thing I realized that Destiny is still one of the most powerful games in gaming is grown men arguing and fighting with each other about Destiny. Because in my clan, it was high drama, and I see all of y'all in there, but it was high drama. Yeah. Thankfully, most of it is resolved. But at the end of the day, that's why I said Destiny is still the best game because you have grown men beefing about stuff like this. But anyway, I digress. So let's get into it. Contest mode, I didn't get a chance to jump in. I jumped in after. And, my initial thoughts of it was, okay, let me see where they're going to go with it narratively, that kind of thing like that. Why are we here, the whole bit. I like aesthetically. I thought it looked cool. Obviously it's a little bit more pyramid, but now we have the Traveler in there with the whole earthy vibe and how that goes. I'm just going to break it down from encounter. The first encounter, just trying to figure that stuff out, the basic mechanic of the shooting the Traveler, and then advancing the Tormentors coming out, slapping the little Scions, and then moving forward. That, it was a good start. Nothing too crazy, but just trying to introduce you to the mechanics. The second one was interesting too, because it was kind of like, okay, going from both sides. And then I like that little mechanic where it's like, okay, the person who's running with the buff, he gives me the buff so I can shoot those specific, guys that are armored up. Keep the kinetic stuff going. You're going up to the top. I will say those little transporters, they all over the place. They are not consistent, especially not for Warlock. Sometimes they shoot.
My second Titan, I can control it a little better. It took me a decent amount of attempts on post-contest mode with my Warlock. Those main cannons, they are not consistent enough to be in a raid.
Right. Yes, they are not a consistent mechanic. So that the third part was kind of like, if I remember, is that the part where you have to survive the energy blast of Nazareth, which is now you're traveling up.
Reversal. Yeah.
Interesting. No feel here and there. I felt there was a little bit of a filler if I just had to nitpick.
Yeah,
but I mean, it was cool. It's aesthetic.
But now, I mean, jumping puzzles are always kind of filler. Yeah. So, and they tend to be my favorite part because it's low stakes and everybody's just kind of laughing and exploding and dying around and making fun of each other.
I did feel it was extra long though. I felt like I was like really going up.
It was a little lengthy. I was like, it didn't need to be all of this.
Yeah, I was like, this could have
been a few less. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it is what it is. Now I will say, then we get to what I call the planets.
Yeah.
I like planets. To me, you could make an argument that planets was the best part of the raid for me. I just thought it was a nice.
And half of Twitter said that. I mean, that was.
Oh, okay. I didn't know how. I didn't. I didn't know how people felt.
I said that in my review too.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, planets was dope because it took a while to figure out. Then you got the DPS phases, and extending it, being smart, the light dark thing. It was a lot to it, and it was cool. So I will say that I was a fan of that mechanic. And then obviously you get to the top, and then it's Nezarec, and shout out to Nezarec, not on that diet. It's been a high carb day for him. It's not. He ain't got Roke level of You
No,
know,
he's not.
cut
He's
up.
not lean. Yeah, he's
He not
been bulking.
lean.
He's been bulking. You know.
Yeah, he been bulking, you know. So he came out, you know, seeing what he was about. And I like the fact that he does chase you around. I thought that was cool. As opposed to just a stationary boss. The ads in there. Yo, I was in the center. First of all this, I'm ad duty, just for the record. Cog is ad duty. My ad duty was challenged in the center. If you're the center guy,
Yeah.
oh boy, because you got the right side, the left side that they want to focus on you sometimes, then you got to worry about him. And I felt so bad for my runners because sometimes they was getting overrun. But I thought it was a fun mechanic. I like that we can do like a safety mechanic if you don't want to, you know, go for the DPS phase. I thought the DPS phase, you know, was fun. Shout out to Thunderlord during this raid. Shout out to Thunderlord. You know,
Yeah.
shout out to Ducky, shout out to a couple of people. Like, putting that on really made a difference. So, yeah, I thought it was cool. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Forbearance is good. Sarko, shout out to Sinister. Yeah, growing trees and stuff like that. But now, look, solid raid, fun. I'm a fan that it was a nice departure from symbols
Yeah.
and that.
I was
stuff.
like, yeah, you didn't want symbols. You didn't have any of them.
I needed that. I needed a raid without hieroglyphics and all this other, you know, stuff. Like, that was cool.
Got to do your research homework of translations of ancient Sanskrit over here to understand what to call these things.
Exactly. Sinister put me on that the call, but shout out to DJ Oros to the joint. Thunderlord is the future. You're an idiot. I think that, like, he told me there was a callback that where you ended is where you started with Nazareth or something like that. Right. So that I thought that was cool. Kind of like Deepstone Crypt. I felt we got some nice lore for Savathun in this. I thought the way he described she killed him, and like it was a lot of her plot on how he ended up in the situation he was in, and then the whole light and basically they tried to foreshadow Final Shape, light and dark together.
Why not? Like
as part
season of the Deep next season is just like eat that stuff now.
Yeah, so I thought that was cool. Look, was it the best raid? Nah, but it was fun. It was a fun experience. It was solid. I still have Deepstone Crypt over this. I was
gonna say, so where does this fall in your pantheon of raids, sir?
If we do a D2 raids, you know, I know I'm still a fan of Last Wish. I always feel Last Wish is ridiculous. I will say this, I'll give you this. After doing this raid, for a person that Richard complained about Val, I had an appreciation for Val. I was like, nah, Val is that wave because still the Rolk encounter is just majestic. Still the symbols, the chaotic nature of moving around. What's that encounter called with the symbols and you got to move around?
I forget the name. I'd have to
obelisks, something like that.
Yeah, whatever that
name.
Even though I'm not good at it, when it works correctly, it's a symphony of madness, is what I call it. It's just
that third encounter.
Yeah, and I love Caretaker.
That. So that's why I like that third encounter so much, as you said. I mean, it is a symphony of chaos, but when it runs right, Exhibition.
Beautiful.
I think that's what it is.
Exhibition, yeah.
When it runs right, it's just like this well-oiled machine, like trade it off. Okay, line up here, switch, call it. And it's like there's a lot going on, but when it's smooth, it's like it would be really hard to describe this to just a person who has no idea what's going on, but in the moment feels really cool. Yeah.
So my gut feeling, it's in the middle of the pack. I still have Deepstone over it. I still have Vow over it, and I have Last Wish over it. But it's a good raid. It's good. It's not like, oh my God, this was terrible kind of thing. But that's where I'm at. I'm curious, your whole experience. You know,
so ours was contest as well. We started on Friday. We went for basically Friday until like 3 o'clock in the morning for us. We were trying. So we definitely had a longer experience than Travis. But the nice thing was, okay, we went to sleep, came back next day at like 11 my time. So I slept for like a decent amount of time, which is why I appreciate the 48 hours. Because we put like 15 hours in. We're like, okay, we think we got the mechanics because we were on Rolk before we went to bed. It just wasn't ironing out. Nezarec, sorry. We were on Nezarec, and then we went to bed, came back, and like second attempt after we got some sleep, we're like, okay, we're getting to Final Stand. Like it was coming together pretty quick. Yeah, walking in, first encounter, you're like, okay, we are going into a pyramid, but then you see all the terraforming vegetation, vines, and all the stuff going on. And I was just like, damn, this place looks cool. I really like how they could take a pyramid, but really give it a contrast from the Traveler's Light and the terraforming effects of it. I really enjoyed the looks of it. Nezarac's voiceovers the whole time were really cool. Loved hearing him. Just the voice, whoever did the voices for him kind of made a very good ominous voice for the whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah, and just kind of understanding the mechanics of, like, first it was TV, so True Vanguard and I were trying to do the connecting the lights, and we were like, we started trying to figure it out, and then we're like, hey, do you want me to help with ad clear? Do you think you can handle that? And then basically we just said, hey, you're going to be the one connector, 5 people on ad clear. Then that started to come together, and we kind of knocked that out pretty quick.
Nice.
If you want a good ad clear build, right now, at least this season for the artifact, Volatile Flow. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Literally Funnel Web and Retrofit Escapade.
Woo!
And then Void Bricks everywhere. I'm just blowing stuff up. And I recently just got the Harsh Language Void Waveframe with the Destabilizing Rounds, which makes things volatile after a kill. Like if you kill an enemy, it makes things around it volatile. So
That's
you're
the
just
shoddy?
no, it's the Void Waveframe GL Breach. So it's an energy slot. I just got one with that, and I was messing around with it in the
Where'd I drop it?
I think it's just a world drop, honestly, because I've only seen a few.
It's a waveframe void?
Waveframe void that has destabilizing rounds, which will on kill cause. Yeah, I know. I had that and I was messing around with it a lot.
I've never even seen that gun.
So like that's another one you could put in there. Yeah, waveframes are going to be great. Lots of ads, lots of lineup, like waveframe forbearance with chain reaction, waveframe with volatile. You got some options. But yeah, that was a fun encounter. Tormentors were kind of thrown in the mix. It was nice to see those in the raid because we didn't get Hive Guardians in the raid kind of thing. So those were nice to see those getting at least a little bit more of a use. Second encounter with man cannons. After contest, I did it with my Warlock. That was more of a pain in the butt until I figured out I kind of had to double tap and then like the float kind of got there. My Titan was a little more, but they are just so unreliable. We had the mechanics pretty quick. Okay, trade about you're bouncing back and forth, connecting your dots, whatever it is, and we had one person on each side doing it. Man, there were just enough times whether it was the second floor, and then we get up to the third floor, and then something would get screwed up by the main cannon again, and it's just those or couch cannon. I think Rook said it in chat. It's just somebody was like, "You made the Halo launchers that are like perfect. Why do you have to make this that is so not?" Like Bungie has made a man cannon before, and in Halo, those things are perfect every time. Like you just, and it just sends you across and you land where you're supposed to. These, like, you could get physics, you could go down, 2 people in the same one, you might get booped off to the side, too high, too low, time the landing, overshoot the slide, like, just not consistent. So it's like, it's fine, but it was just not consistent. So I don't love that. The mechanics of switching back and forth is fine. If you just made a better man cannon launcher, totally fine. Actually kind of enjoyable encounter, you know, a little bit of back and forth. And, you know, if somebody drops, you could actually help pick up and then recover. And then we have there were so many fun descriptions of the
thing that you enter,
the opening of the
opening of it was many of those.
We had the opening of the flower. We can just say it nicely like that.
Traveler's Sphincter.
Traveler's Sphincter, Easter Bunny's butthole.
We had a lot of those. Butthole.
Yeah. So yeah. And then that opened with lighter darks. He had the little connections in there. So that was there was some fun commentary. Then we got to the the charge up pulse. We'll definitely go ahead and say that one started being called the Throbbening.
Getting excited. He is excited to see you.
Exactly. So it was that's the name that seems to have stuck with our group. Sorry for everybody who's joining this one late.
To Travis's point, those puzzles is where everyone gets silly.
It's like it's
laughing
goofy,
and
it's
you're
kind of
goofy.
fun. Yep.
You're just having fun. Yeah.
And then the planets encounter. Like you walk into that room and it'll make cinematic. So cool. Just a throwback to the cinematic from the Witch Queen to the Witness and the planets and everything. Also goes back to the 2 truths and 2 lies, where now we have the power to move planets. So that's actually kind of confirmed, which is cool. And then just kind of working it out. It was me and Cool Guy, like straight across from each other. And we're like, all right, everybody had to figure out their call outs. So it was like, were you front, back, wall? Or like we had our call outs and, we played a little bit on Tuesday and there were different call outs that were used and figure out what works for you. We didn't do numbers, no.
Okay, so what did y'all call them out?
Cool Guy were on the higher triangles. We were opposite from each other, and we just did front and back of the two that were like in line, and then
Mhm.
one that's the wall in the far part of the room, whatever one was by the wall. And that's what we ended up working for us. So I mean,
Okay.
talk it out with your partner and you can probably find something that works. I mean,
Mhm.
Fallout came in and played with us on Tuesday for our first one, and he was saying like left, right, and middle or something like that.
Right.
So I was like,
Yes,
that was
yes.
another one, and I'm going
With the plates?
with the planets.
Okay. What about the plate DPS? How was that for you guys?
I was running Titan Bubble, and then we just had a lot of Warlocks. So it was Wells on a couple of them. I had a bubble to kind of set it up for protection, and then it was just trying to figure out. For some reason, the damage, even when we did it on Tuesday, like our damage phases feel short, so I'm not entirely
Right.
sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're really like tight windows, and we're like, okay, it's on, and it's like you're going, and then all of a sudden it's like fire's coming, he's immune again. We're like, it feels like there's something in there that should either extend it, and I don't know if there is. So I gotta figure maybe there's some mechanic that comes up later on.
Mhm.
But just it was a cool mechanic because the communication, you had to kill the Centurion to get the big guy to spawn, then you'd have to solo your Colossus. And then you have, like your 3 plates kind of like Caretaker is what that reminded me of, was for damage. And
Mhm.
then Nezarec going crazy. I was one of the runners, so I mean that was my job the whole time. I know ad
Mm.
clear. So I was running, and then on my Titan at first, TV switched to Eager's Edge to kind of get around a little quicker.
Ooh,
I was
okay.
using at first I was a little bit struggling, then I was like, let me just go shoulder charge. And then all of a sudden that let me get enough speed to move around. So we would skip. We're fast enough where we skip the white mechanic, which, shout out to Mano. I was talking to him last night. He kind of had a tweet that blew up and was saying,
Wait, what
you
would
know,
you say?
well, he basically just was like, do you guys know a lot of you? Now there were multiple things I saw. One, if you put a well down and he would Nezarec would land and people would he'd land and they'd punch him and he'd just
Mhm.
stay there.
Yes.
And that was
Yes.
like a glitch some people were doing. We didn't do that, but I heard about that. But if you go fast enough, you skip where you need to get the little safety buff.
Right.
And
Right.
that's what we got fast enough to do. And
Put us on to the safety buff. Yeah.
yeah, but then we got to where we were fast enough to where we didn't have to do that. And basically what Mano had asked was like, do you guys think that, I feel like Bungie should have almost made you engage with the raid mechanic as opposed to being able to be fast enough to skip it. And it's kind of a debate.
He said,
No,
he's in trouble.
no, and I'm not throwing him under the bus because it is a legitimate discussion about the difficulty of the raid and stuff like that. And people pile on Twitter. They're all stupid. Like the internet is mostly crazy. Whole bunch of keyboard warriors. Shout out to Travis and multiple experiences in that one.
Straight exterminating a boy.
Oh, dude, Travis just handing out L's left and right,
Yeah,
just
it was crazy.
hilarious.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, would it have been a better encounter if you had to engage with the Switch? And that was kind of the question that Mano asked, and I was like, it would have made it more of a challenge for sure, depending on how you set it up. You get the buff, and then you spread. No, I'm not trying to throw Mano under the bus. He just brought up a good point, and which is why I kind of wanted to mention it, because we were doing it fast enough, but it's like that allowed us to skip, and it's like, okay, is that a point where it's like, did Bungie want to allow the skill ceiling to be like, if you're fast enough, you can technically do it? Mano, I think, also said the second one is quicker if you don't do the buff the first time, which he explained that to me last night, and that's why I wondered. I was like, we have to be really tight on our second one. We can do it, but now it makes sense why it's so much closer. So that one kind of makes sense, but it was just kind of the connections, but it seemed like, and again, I don't know who's I wasn't on sniper duty of trying to take the hatred. That seemed to be the big struggle for us, was pulling the hatred, trying to get the gaze, because if you're a runner, you don't have a lot of room for error. And then all of a sudden, if I'm floating and being booped in the air, and I'm just like,
oh, when he gets booped crazy?
yeah, and I'm just like, oh, that's gonna, yeah, and it was terrible. So it's like, I don't know how difficult the control is, if there's consistency. So there's some of that stuff is either probably going to get worked out, not as hard on contest and those kind of things. But I mean, DPS, I think we ended up going to rockets for both the third and fourth with Galley and some rockets and other stuff is what ended up working for us. I mean, overall, I enjoyed it. Again, somewhere it's probably going to be in the middle. But I do enjoy the fact that Final Guy does move more of an active arena. Like I enjoy.
He hunted.
I was like, and now we're actually, it's a little different as opposed to Rolk is like the build up to the arena and it's empty, but also, the arena is very active, which I kind of enjoyed. But on the other side, it felt like you almost had to have a well, multiple wells basically. And that's, I mean, you're shooting yourself in the foot if you don't, but the way the encounters are designed, it's hard not to. I mean, there's so many things coming at you, whether it's the third guy spraying fire all over the plate you've got to stand on, and then you've got to go stand on that and do damage. You're like, how are you going to do that? Healing Rift is sure as hell not going to help. So again, it's just like rift, or well after well after well. And that seems to be a requirement. And that's still where I like the idea of the movement of Rolk so much, because you couldn't do that.
You can't do the well. Yeah,
but also, but you also weren't being pelted by 100 enemies. It's like you managed like to get to damage phase, and damage was managing him in the instance in the situation, not 20,000 guys. So it's again, it's another variation. Hopefully Final Shape does something cool. I still want them to do some type of encounter where it's not shoot one dude in the head with a crit spot. I want something to where it's like, I need multiple things to shoot where everybody has to take one, or you can pull out a machine gun and you need to mow down multiple ads, and like some more spread encounter as opposed to.
It sound like Travis talk. It sound like
big dude in the face.
Talk.
Shout out to Warren. He brought up a great point, which is you actually don't need a hatred strat in that encounter if you have me on your team, because he will attack me no matter what. It doesn't matter where I am on the map or how far away from him or how few times I've shot him. He will focus me. He'll come after me. He'll attack me even when I'm hiding behind out of the bounds of the level. He'll still hit me with his attack, which Warren can attest to because I helped his group get their first clear.
Nice.
And there you go. So if you ever have trouble with Nez, just invite me to your team. Bungie hates me, and they've programmed Nezarec to
chase just you.
Nezarec me. That's his job. That's his job. So.
Well, I will tell you, if you ever want to get the raid exotic, don't play with Cool Guy, because he is now on a 5 raid streak in a row. On his first clear, getting the exotic 5 raids in a row.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Literally, like, it was hilarious. Like, we got our clear that afternoon, and it was an hour before. Fallout tweet, he's like, I swear to God, if Fallout gets the exotic on the first drop, and Cool Guy literally replied like an hour later, it's like, sorry, dude. It's kind of one of those like,
yo,
and he did.
Luck.
It's ridiculous. Like that's another level. I think TV got it over the weekend on like a clear, so he got it too. But first clear, 5 raids in a row. Like, bro, come on. That's ridiculous.
Yo, shout out to people who want to help me with my 50-second King's Fall run for Touch of Malice, and my what is it? I think I'm at like 60 dungeons for the bow. For Spire the Watcher.
I need to go get my catalyst.
And obviously I also need the shotgun. So the list is growing and not getting shorter, which is not a great sign.
I will say this.
I'll let your boy.
I will say this. Salute to them for in the challenges, having challenges that increase the drop rate of the raid dungeon. Thank God.
Now,
because I was like,
granted, we don't know the statistics on that because it's always BS in the background. This raises your chance. I'm like, it could raise it 0.01% when you have 1 out of a billion chance to get it. I'm like, so it's not always it's always a whole background speculative. I don't know what the numbers down.
True. But I have faith that the fact that they have multiple sources to do this, and one of them, I feel for the people that are going to have to do this flawless though with the bus mechanic and the jump.
Oh no, like a flawless raid with the main cannons is just going to piss me. Like that's, if you can get past that, then you got to buckle up. But you may as well just like count out a flawless run until you get done with that, because
flawless run is going to be crazy. I wanted to say loot wise, what drops you got? I got like a sidearm that I actually think has potential. I just got terrible rolls on it. I didn't get the shotgun, but I saw a Cool Guy's video. The shotgun looks amazing.
I think the exotic, it's got potential.
It's like an automatic freeze, whoever. Then you get the solar aspect.
Yeah, if you hit most of the bullets with the first one, it's a guaranteed basically stasis freeze fully, like not a half a full.
Yes.
And then the second one, if you hit, says basically all of the bullets or nearly all of the pellets, it's an instant incandescent ignite.
Yes. And I will say the trace rifle, the solar trace,
that has so many good rolls and I can't get one,
is insane for boss DPS.
Oh no, I did finally. I got
a baby cold heart. What you got?
I got some reconstruction target lock.
Oh, you got the go.
Well, like the other 2 pieces may not be perfect, but yeah, those 2.
No, bro. You got baby cold heart.
Yeah.
You got the reconstruction. Yeah, that's the one I got talking about. I get the reconstruction.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What I'm looking for. That's crazy. And it also could come with incandescent stuff like that.
The AR feels. My roll is not that good. Still feels good, which means a good roll is going to feel better. That AR actually is going to have some potential because
720 strand, right?
720 strand, and mine's got the paracausal affinity on it. And basically, it's like
What am I
final
doing?
blow. Okay, final blows of energy types matching this weapon's alignment grant increased damage for a short period of time, and it's 20%. Light final
Mhm.
blows boost arc, solar, and void. Darkness final blows boost stasis and strand. And literally,
Hmm.
I can grab the strand grenade launcher, get a
Mhm.
kill, switch to my AR, and that buff is procced. I can use the
Got it.
AR to get a kill, and the buff is procced. Now,
Got
granted,
it.
you can't flip. I can't get like a void shotgun kill that also has the buff, and then switch over.
Mhm.
But in theory, you could do like if you could get all of strand or strand and stasis weapons, you could kind of have the
Yeah.
whole thing working together. So there are some
Mhm.
cool ones, and then the harmonic resonance is not bad, not
Yes.
amazing, but not bad.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
But yeah,
no,
the
I like
weapons are decent.
weapons
They're
seem early props out, early results seem like the weapons people are positive about the drops so far.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, overall, fun experience, enjoyed it. Yeah, we were up from 11 to 3. That was like 14 hours or 15 hours or whatever that was. And then woke up and I think we had it knocked out in less than 2 the next day after we slept. So it was just
Nice.
got to sleep, knocked it out, and good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Val still has some damn good loot.
Yeah, Val, I think
Between the linear, the
Yeah.
Deliverance Fusion, the Pulse Rifle that I love, Forbearance, those 4 alone,
Yeah.
yeah, is probably going to set it apart.
Yeah, the linear, Deliverance is crazy. There's really not a whack drop in Val, I feel.
Yeah,
It's
like
very
the sidearm from this one, I'm probably not
Yeah.
going to get a lot of use out of it. Not so
It's
much.
Grenade
good.
launcher.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
what you said? Which one?
Grenade launchers, the trace rifle so far, at least all the
trace
rolls I've
rifle
gotten have been meh.
The trace rifle can get good rolls. Like for a trace rifle, it's probably going to be one of the best legendaries if you can get the right rolls on it. That'll be
What
the
you
key.
get for a trace
what,
rifle?
Trav, what
Typically
you get?
can
What
be.
drops you got?
That's it, really. I've gotten
Mm.
like 4 copies of the grenade launcher and 3
Ugh.
copies of the trace rifle. So
I'm glad you brought that up. Can we address something? I'm getting tired of whatever the first drop you get in a new raid. I've noticed this new pattern. Like, I got a chess piece. Then if you get the secret chest,
It's the
it
same.
has to be the
Has to be
same.
the same
It
thing.
cannot be like Bungie. What's up with this loot pool, bro?
Yeah.
Stop. I went to a raid and got 3 chests in a row. Like, come on. Like, you can't do. You got to open it up. It should have all the possibilities of that encounter, as opposed to getting duplicates of the one.
Yeah.
That drives me nuts. Okay,
Yeah, I've got like 3 or 4 chest pieces or legs or something. I've got a lot of armor.
I've only gotten 1 piece of armor, so I'm feeling pretty good.
What do you guys
but
think of
What
the
you got?
armor look? Because it is unique.
horrifying. Yeah, I love it.
Mhm.
It's terrible. I don't know who did that, but it was a mistake. Good job.
It's kind of. I don't like it either, but I like where they're going with the Indian army. I mean, for the Warlock, I haven't seen y'all. For the Warlock,
The
it's kind of like
Titans,
this extra Indian arm thing. Karma
It's got a
Sutra,
very unique
something.
like
Karma
pattern.
Sutra.
You got to look that word up because I don't think that's what you think that is.
Whatever it is, whatever that.
It's not
whatever
that.
is.
It's not
Okay,
that.
it's not that.
It's not
Wrong
that.
culture. Sorry.
Do you know what that is?
That
No.
was amazing.
Clearly.
Oh, you want to
Whatever the
roast?
extra
Hold
arms
on.
go.
You want to roast me about my food? Please, somebody roast him about the 2 words he just said.
Okay, first of all, Cog, you meant Vishnu, okay?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
there
god
it
with
is,
the
there it is.
arms,
There it
okay?
is. There it is. That's what I meant.
Do you want
Second of all, Karma Sutra is a book about tantric sex.
Yep,
Okay,
that's
there it
what
is,
it
there
is.
it is.
Yeah.
The arms excited.
oh man, that was great. Sorry,
Yes.
Cog got really excited when he saw those extra arms. He was like, I know what I could do with those. It'd be so great. The
Yep.
possibilities.
Well, this has been an episode.
It sure has. We've covered a lot of bases.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've covered,
Yes.
goddesses.
Yes.
We've covered
Foiled eating
Food.
habits and
Both
now
Yeah.
sex manuals. Beautiful.
Sex manuals. There we
right,
go.
Yeah,
that's
that's
There
good
we go.
stuff.
Tantra, baby. Tantra.
Yeah. Well, now we know Cog's library situation.
It
going
does
on.
Hey,
not
don't judge
include
me.
that book.
Don't judge me, baby.
Or
I
it
have,
does, and
I
that's
have
why it
fun
was
in
in his
my
head.
household.
Yeah, he has fun.
He has way too much fun. Yeah.
It's fun over here.
Hope there's no upside down pineapples at your house, and then we're good.
Yo! Y'all stupid.
Anyway, where do you guys land on I'm trying to think like the best way to ask this question. Do you think this did new things in the raid enough to feel like novel? Do you feel like it's just another notch in like the Destiny raid belt? Where do you feel, where are your hopes for final shape after seeing this? I guess that's the best way to put it. From seeing this one and Vow and kind of the progression we've got since like Last Wish and all of those things since, where do you guys have hopes now for final shape?
I think, look, it still remains that they botched the narrative. Like, I mean, we can't get out of that, right? You know, to me, and I spoke to Sinister about this while I was doing the raid. As much as I like the raid, there's a part of me that, the reason why I have more an appreciation for Roke is a part of me that this was nonsensical. It was just like this random shot of the Traveler creates this raid that we feel to go here, and then Nazareth is here. To me, it was a purposeful diversion to not continue on with where we need to go with the Witness. Now, I get it. You know, Nazareth is important. They've been building him. He's been built throughout the campaign. He's been hiding. I get it, but it just...
And now he's been unbuilt.
Yeah, it was just, you brought him back to life to kill him again, and then, you know, as much as I love the raid, narratively, we're still on pause. They're still pressing the pause button on us to not move it forward. And I still feel like, you know, season of the, Defiance with her, at least is a little bit of what may come next. So I just didn't like this approach. That's just all. I just, you know, I know what they're trying to do. I just don't like the approach of pressing pause on a major expansion. You're not allowed. This is 10 years, bro. Like, tell us what's going on. And it's just frustrating because you know the potential could be there, but I just feel like you just giving me a little cracker here, you giving me a little morsel here, you try to stretch this thing out. Like, bro, give me the meal. Like, we big enough for the meal now. You know what I'm saying? So
You're like, I've had enough of the free bread. Give me the steak.
Yeah, again, not terrible, but unacceptable for expansion. That's just where I'm at. Like, you got to give it. I know, Trav. I feel. I think I read a little bit of what you said. I think we were aligned there. And it's just that's the disappointment.
What you're saying is it's okay.
Yeah, you know, it's cool.
Like a
but
6 out of 10, basically.
Yeah, it's like they're gonna make a raid narratively about a random shot of the Traveler. Yo, y'all got to go over there. Something's crew. Who knows? And Resurrect happened to be in that particular. It's just you know, you ain't pushing this thing forward, bro. That's all. Push it forward.
Feels like it just gives more and more credence to the idea that this was, you know, made to fill the gap that they had to. Same way Rise of Iron was built to give them time to kind of put Destiny 2 together. That's what at least I heard a while ago about. Rise of Iron was originally not planned. Theoretically, that was supposed to be
correct,
like a Destiny 2 situation. They needed more times, and then they had to like make that expansion. And this, the more little things like this, again, the way you phrase that is, hey, Traveler shoots the beam into the pyramid ship, Witness goes in. We're not going to go after the Witness in any aspect. We're going to go over to the Witness, and we're going to help out the Neomunians, which is kind of the whole point of the expansion. But again, we know more of what the Veil looks like from an artist rendering on Twitter since we got the ArtStation drops than we ever got during the entire campaign, which it looks cool. It's still like kind of a weird jellyfish. It's like kind of a cool concept, this weird jellyfish, but yeah, it's this Nezarec. He's kind of cool, but he didn't have an effect on the grander aspect of the Traveler, the light, the dark, all of that stuff. He's kind of this, as you said, we had to bring him back to life to kill him. He was just this essence that it was. So it's like, I didn't mind it, but it didn't do anything. And it feels like it's more in line. As Travis said, it's like, it's okay. Fun raid, can be a quick raid, not overly crazy if you're doing it on normal. All of that stuff is fine. It's an onion. It has layers. Yeah.
It has layers.
Unfortunately, I think we haven't got to the good layers yet.
Yeah, let me get GK Bowles. He said, "Cog, the Lord's actually really good, my man." No, it is, but it's D1 energy good. Where I got to go into Grimoire, I got to do all that. Like, tell me in this story. And to your point, E, you said it perfectly. The reason why I'm frustrated is the Witness went through the door. Our pending doom. This man is carrying out and executing the plan, and we acting like the end of the world is for us. But we go sidetrack and go look at some side mission.
It's going to take us a year to get there. That's what's worse is we're going to go through seasons of trying to like figure out how we get on the Traveler as opposed to going in there.
No one is scared to death that this man just entered the Traveler and literally holds our whole existence in his hand. No one is worried about the future, that we could die at any minute if he executes. I don't feel that pending doom, and that's the mistake by these side quests, especially after Infinity War. That's like, again, you know what? We don't care about Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet right now. He won. Let's go do this side thing on Earth. Like, no, get in that door, B. It's real over there. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, Travis, you feel like you were lining up to say something.
I was lining up to say a few things, but I gotta let you guys talk. I think we all know that this was filler, which is part of why it feels like it's, a letdown. But I feel like even by filler standards, it's pretty weak, because there's a right way to do filler, right? Like, you ever watch an anime where like they do a filler episode where the bad guys finally gotten there, but then the entire episode is them like talking to their loved ones right before they go off to fight the final battle, and like that sort of filler, it can be good because it helps build the tension toward the final confrontation. In my opinion, this was filler in the worst possible way because it had nothing to do with the final confrontation, really. It felt like a straight up side quest. And I feel like they could have used this year as an opportunity to build up a ton of momentum going into the next year, which is kind of what they did with Shadowkeep. Like, I don't think Shadowkeep was very good, but it was at least directly related. It was all about like building up momentum. The darkness is here, the darkness is coming. That was kind of the whole theme, right? We're finally getting to go on a pyramid ship and find out what that's about. And I feel like they really didn't use their time well, because they didn't use their time to build momentum for the Witness. If anything, they took away some of that momentum. They made the Witness seem less competent, less of a thing to be afraid of. He's now, or it is now hiding inside the Traveler or in some sort of dimension. And it's like, rather than spending this year to sort of like set that up or have us doing something that's directly related to this guy's arrival and the pyramid ships and what that means, they're like, let's go to Neomuna. Let's talk to characters that have nothing to do with this, who you've never met, who are just going to make cheap jokes and go on like this B-movie plot side quest. And it's like, that's just so bad. And I don't think there's any way about that. But I do take issue with people saying that the story is the only thing that was bad. I said this last week. Like, I think the campaign is not well designed. I think it's a huge step down from the Witch Queen, where we had kind of diet raid mechanics in there. I feel like the destination is not particularly interesting, and it also just seems really at odds with the idea of Lightfall and the stuff that we're going through in the expansion. Just really weird to see this beautiful city with no people in it. It's just like, all right, where was this? This doesn't really feel like Destiny. And yeah, I mean, there's also the stuff I talked about in my review, which was like the things that they still haven't fixed. No PvP maps, no Gambit maps, one new strike. The bugs, man. Like,
the bugs are bad this season.
I think I might have cut that paragraph out of my review, but I wrote about like the bugs and just how unstable Destiny feels right now and some other stuff. So this is a disappointment. And I think even the people who are Lightfall stands or simping for Destiny or whatever, I think even they would admit it's a step down from the Witch Queen. I don't think anybody's out here like, oh, this is even better, this is the best expansion that's ever come out. I don't think anybody's saying that. And so, I would hope that Destiny fans would ask for a little bit more from their game, expect a little bit more, and especially going into the final chapter. But yeah, from a raid perspective, it sort of feels kind of in line with the rest of the expansion, in that it didn't feel consequential, exactly. The Last God of Pain didn't really live up to his name too much. I will say I feel like it was at least more directly related to the primary conflict of Destiny. We were on a pyramid ship. We were exploring the relationship between light and darkness on the Traveler. I feel like if I were designing this DLC, if Bungie told me, hey, Travis, we can't do the final shape until next year, we're going to have to push Lightfall back a year. You need to make something that can fill this. I would have made the new destination a pyramid ship, and it would have been all about exploring and setting up the darkness light and answering some of those questions and prepping it. And I feel like then the raid might have felt more in place, but it feels really weird to spend the entire expansion on Neomuna and then go into a pyramid ship and kind of just do something completely different. I liked it, but it did feel a little
I got a
side
question
quest.
for you, Trav. After you said
Yeah,
all this, because last word you were here, and at the time the review was a strong 5.
yeah.
Something changed. I looked at your review, and a whole point went up.
Yeah.
So after that scathing review, very honest, very direct. What happened? What gave it the point? I'm very
Yeah.
curious about this.
Yeah. So if you read my review, most of the stuff I complained about that I gave it a 5 is still there.
Correct.
I changed a few things.
Mhm.
One is I changed how hard I was on Strand because I had more time with it.
Okay.
When I wrote the original review, I was basically just saying like, and this was true when I previewed the game too, because I
remember.
didn't have the full sandbox of Strand. I just felt like, all right, this is just another Destiny Super, but it's in green, right? And that's just not true once you unlock. And I think when I wrote the review in progress, it was before the week with Tassie and stuff like that, and they hadn't unlocked all of the Strand stuff yet. And so once we got the full set of tools and all that stuff, I was like, all right, cool. This feels way more unique, and I can see the build potential of this. So that was one thing that I changed. And then they did add more quests. You have to keep in mind, when I wrote my review, it was like 5 days after the expansion was out. I'd beaten the campaign, and then after that, there were 3 exotic quests, and that was it. That was the entire expansion, right? And then the seasonal stuff seemed like it was kind of going in the same direction. So they added some more content, some more quests. They gave us all of the Strand abilities, and we're able to build out with that. And then the raid came out, and the raid, I would say, it's not the best raid ever, but it's also not bad. I think people who are saying like it's straight up bad, like it's not bad. It's not bad.
Not bad.
It's just sort of, a bad one is Spire of Stars. Spire of Stars is
gosh,
bad. You know what I mean?
Terrible.
Like that's like not a good raid.
I agree.
But this is much
Sorry,
better
Scarrow.
than that. Sorry, Scarrow. It's better than Leviathan. And I do want to talk about the raid difficulty debate because I have very different opinions.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah. I do want to talk about that. But the things that brought it up were more time to deal with the stuff that wasn't the core content, like the exotic quests and the other stuff that was there, more time to play with Strand and the raid. And then I was honestly still
on that 5
wafting right between 5 and 6, because to me 7 was completely out of the question. I can't find myself to really describing the expansion at all as good. I like the word good just doesn't like sit well with me at all for this expansion. Mediocre and okay. Mediocre means underwhelming. Okay means whelming. It's like nothing special. And the thing that actually changed my mind was I went and I reread the IGN scoring rubric, which I do every time I'm having trouble grading a game. And I read the definition of 5 and I read the definition of 6, and 6 felt more like it was true to me. And so I think 5 said something about like it's the type of game that you would forget a day after you played it. And that felt wrong to me.
Okay.
That felt wrong to me. It didn't. We can read it if we want on the show, but it felt like maybe that was too harsh of a language.
So 5, I'll read it.
Sure.
Yes, please.
5 is mediocre. This is the kind of bland, unremarkable game we've mostly forgotten about a day after we finish playing it. Mediocre game isn't something you should spend your time or money on if you consider either to be precious, but they'll pass the time if you have nothing better to do. 6 is okay. These recommendations come with a boatload of ifs. There's a good game in here somewhere, but in order to find it, you'll have to know where to look and perhaps turn a blind eye to some significant drawbacks. But it didn't quite make it to good, which is 7. Playing a good game is time well spent. Could it be better? Absolutely. Maybe it lacks ambition, maybe it's too repetitive, but it has a few technical bumps in its road or is too repetitive, but we came away with it happy nonetheless. We think you will too.
He skipped over the joke. Which
What?
is it says read the list of what the technical bumps might be.
Oh, maybe it lacks ambition, is too repetitive, and has a few technical bumps in the road, or is too repetitive. But we came away. I almost I subconsciously skipped that one.
Yeah, you skipped over it. It says it's repetitive twice because Dan Stapleton's hilarious. Yeah, so to me, like the 5 saying it's the kind of unremarkable game that you forget a day after, bland, unremarkable. I think certain things in Lightfall definitely meet that standard. I think the campaign, if I was judging just the campaign, it would be a 4 out of 10. I think the campaign is actively bad, like actively bad. If I was judging the destination, I would say the expansion was a 5 because this destination was 100% bland and unremarkable. But overall, there's a lot of things that I would say are much better than either of those things. Strand, obviously the core gameplay, the raid is definitely not a 5 or 6. And so those things, there are things that are 4s and 5s. There are things that are 7s and 8s.
Gotcha.
6 is right in the middle of those
Yeah.
things. And I just feel like overall, when you're taking the whole package and the bugginess and some of that stuff, I give it a 6 out of 10. And so that's what brought me there, and reading those definitions and saying like it's a recommendation that comes with a boatload of ifs. That's Lightfall. It's like, look, you could play it, you could have fun if you don't care about the story. And you see people in the comments on my review giving exactly those sorts of arguments. They're like, well, look, our expectations shouldn't have been this high, or hey, Destiny's always had this problem, and hey,
that doesn't give you any right to like give
exactly
it a pass, though. That's the
exactly
thing.
So people give it a pass for certain things, and to me, anybody who's heard me talk about any video game ever knows I don't give passes for anything. I'm just too big of a whiner. I'm too whiny to ever do that.
Yeah, I mean,
respect.
yeah. I mean, and then you kind of fall, like somebody mentioned, like Witch Queen Striga. Quicksilver's been bugged since launch, and it's like I'd love to use it, but right now it's 40% weaker. It's like that one's Winter's Bite. Like you do the quest, and then I parked it in the vault because it was disabled for a while. I think it's finally fixed today. So like that kind of thing. But I do want to go back to the other piece of this discussion is how many people finish the raid in contest mode. Now, there's a tweet from like D1 Alpha Veteran and all this stuff that shows the numbers and how many people. I mean, you can go back to Last Wish.
D1 Alpha Veteran, isn't that a joke account?
I think so, yeah. But
Yeah,
somehow that was the one that got like quoted to like the one who put all the numbers together. But the idea is like you go back to Last Wish. You had 2 teams beat it in 24 hours, and of course, Dato's 24:02, so 2 minutes later, so 3. Then you have stuff like, Scourge of the Past in there. You've got Shadowkeep. You've got Deepstone Crypt. And the numbers they've never been this high. Now, the more we play, the more we understand raid mechanics. The more in Lightfall, we got more quality of life things. When it comes to doing the campaign, now it's not like, do you remember how hard it was to level up in Last Wish? Or Last Wish, just to even try and beat. Light level was one of. I mean, Dato did a really good video. If you haven't watched it, it is worth a listen because it is 100% valid. He does this
really good video is a fun way to describe that. It is it's a hilarious video.
Yeah,
but
but it brings up a lot of points. It's like Dato's elitist video, but honestly, like the points he brings up are all valid. Like, but if you think about now the experience we get, you do the campaign, you're 1770. You had to be 1780 max to be able to interact with everything on Contest. Contest is actually a thing now. Now we have 48 hours to experience contest mode, so you can actually sleep as opposed to not. Like, these are not bad changes. Better quality of life for leveling. 48 hours so you have healthy sleep patterns. We are also strong. We have 3.0 subclasses. We've got an artifact. We've got Void. But also, some people feel the thing was just too easy. And we were even playing through it, and I will say, it did seem like the enemies, especially in like the first encounter, didn't feel as threatening. Like I was able to mow them down pretty quickly. And it just kind of depends on how it all goes. But also we struggled for 16 hours. I mean, it wasn't a joke. I mean, Travis did in 5. Now, the first team that beat it was 2.5. 2.5 hours was
with
that
challenges. With challenges, which I think is important because I beat it in 5 hours, but I didn't even know what the challenges were. But for World First, you had to beat challenge on every single encounter.
Did you? Not on this.
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Because I wrote the news article for the winning team, and it said the Bungie post said that they beat they were the first team to beat the raid with every challenge.
I didn't think that was a requirement to beat it though. I don't remember reading
that. Was in their official post.
I just don't remember that being a requirement for World's First or anything. But I know they have the World's First like raid post and stuff, but I don't remember them saying that was required to actually get it. So I'd have to go back and read it.
Not challenge. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't recall. But anyway,
because I mean, I know when there's like the normal and the reprised raids, you got to go back, you got to do hard mode, you got to do all that type of. Like I remember that.
It was in the press release. It was in the press release. I know to find it. 1 sec.
Okay. Manual
get it for y'all.
reprise raid.
Yeah, the
requires-
reprise raid requires that. World first doesn't require challenges. Like, I don't think this one did. I think it was literally just all they said is you had to get to the final chest, open it, and get the orbit.
Yeah,
That
so it
was
looks
the-
like it's a reprise raid according to it.
Yeah, so I don't think that was this one.
Yeah.
1 sec.
Anyway.
I'll find it.
No. Anyway,
Mhm.
either way, it was 2.5 hours, which everybody thought was very quick. Then we
Mhm.
got to see the numbers that it was. I think, if you look over the numbers of the total of teams.
Yep. All right. It's right here. Right here. I got the receipts once again. All right.
Okay.
So this is a PR email that was sent out by Bungie immediately after announcing World First. Guardians from around the world fought against an ancient threat in the Root of Nightmares raid this weekend during the World First raid race. A massive congratulations to Team Harden the Paint for emerging victorious. As the first team to both beat the raid and the additional challenges, all 6 members will receive World First title belts and will forever be known as the World First champions of Root of Nightmares.
Yeah, but
So
I
it
don't
was part
think
of the
they.
challenge.
But
I don't think
they
they
did
had
that.
to. They
Yeah, but I
might
don't
have,
think
but
they
I don't
had
think
to
they
do
had
that. Yeah.
to.
I think I
Because,
think
yeah,
that's what
really?
Yeah, if
They
you
just
go back,
optionally beat all the challenges?
I mean, they
They
may
were
have.
just nice.
They may have just done that, but
Yeah, they was just dead
no,
nice
it's
with
like
it. Yeah.
honestly, it was never listed as a requirement. It is. They
Yeah.
said you had to have the triumph, basically, of like pulling the loot from each encounter and then getting
then
back to
go to
orbit.
orbit.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's why.
Why
but
would
it
they
they
was-
put
did-
that in the thing? Because
I-
it says
I think they
as
just would.
but here's the thing. It says as the first team to both beat the raid and additional challenges, they receive World First belts and will forever be known. So it seems like the comma is saying these are the qualifications to become World First.
But that's
They're the
not
first
what they
team to
said.
beat the
Yeah,
raid
that's
and all the challenges.
that's poorly worded by them because they never once mentioned that previously in the TWABs. Like, hey, you have to accomplish all that would have been a thing.
Yeah.
And I
I
did
think it
not
was-
hear about that anywhere
it was-
during the raid races.
Yeah, I think it was more of a commendation to them on how great they are. Yeah, aside from doing that, they did this, and then what we're gonna recognize it. But yeah, they amazing. Shout out to what is it, Hard in the Paint?
Hard in the paint, yeah. Go
Hard in the Paint. They
yeah.
go extra hard. They go extra hard. But where we at with this?
But I mean, they said like players that cleared Cataclysm was 361,000. Total players that entered the raid was 582,000. So players that cleared Cataclysm was the first 361. Scission was 315,000. Macrocosm was 249,000, and players that cleared Nezarec was just under 200,000.
And as far as engagement, my understanding, this was probably some of the most engagement with the Twitch thing as well.
I
or-
mean, I saw Datto had like 87,000. There was 500,000 total people watching Destiny. I mean, it was a big one. I don't know if it was a record,
Mhm.
but I mean, I know it was pretty solid. That for those who were doing it, depending on how long it took and everything.
Mhm.
But that goes to the question: how long do you think a raid should take? Do you feel it should be? Do you feel like you were threatened in contest mode, Travis? You can kind of ask this one. How did the
Yes.
challenge feel? Like, how did?
It wasn't easy. I think staying alive during the last encounter, you had to have maxed out armor with like void resistance on and concussive resistance, and like I died a lot of times. To damage and that sort of thing. Mechanically, it was pretty easy. And the thing that really bugs me is there were no damage checks like at all. Like if you were able to pull off the mechanics and survive, basically you were able to do enough damage. It was just a matter of keeping everybody alive and then doing the thing, But
Do you want there to be damage checks on bosses?
I mean, kind of. I don't want them to be crazy, but I do want it to be like challenging, where it's like you're like sweating a little bit and doing it. So, are we talking about just difficulty in the raid at all, or are we at that point? Are we?
I mean, yeah, that's
getting
kind of what we're talking about. Like, I mean, the idea was, I think, the number of teams who cleared this raid is basically the number of teams who cleared contest for all the previous ones combined. If you're going to go by numbers.
Yes.
Right.
All right.
Now, granted,
so,
the situations are not the same between the way we level and contest 48 hours.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
not all the same, not apples to apples. But
Correct.
that's
so
one of the
all right.
things.
I'm gonna give my opinion on that then, because I feel like I've been dancing around it this entire
Let's go.
entire show. All right. So to the first point that you talked about, which is part of the reason the Last Wish raid had so few people clear it, is because the grind to get ready for the World First and have enough power was very bad. And I don't think intentional. I think it was like they thought that people would be able to get there faster and then people weren't, or I don't know what their thinking was, but I don't think you should put your players through that. I also don't think it's a fun loop. for people to like find ways to exploit and rerun the same lost sectors 45,000 times a day and do all this stuff to try to get drops. I think that is really dumb. There was also a glitch at that time where people were getting powerful drops to drop and then not picking them up, like leaving them on the floor
like
to try to
prime
get as many
engrams or something too.
Prime engram farming. There was like a thing like that. And I think that part is really bad, and I'm glad they did away with that, because it means that anybody can try it, and the contest is kind of on its own merits. It takes away the how much time do you have and how much time can you afford to take off of work, and like those kind of annoying questions.
Hour for hour. That's what our friend
Yes.
Fran Mirabelli
Oh
used to say.
God. Power
Right.
per hour. I forgot
Power
about
per
that.
hour. Power per hour is a legit thing, and I think it sort of makes it unfair. It makes it more elitist if you have to be a professional gamer to even qualify, because you can't find the time to actually level up. So I think that's terrible, and I'm glad that they got rid of that. It just lets more people play. The second thing is, I hate the day that they did it, and I get the reason that they did it. They don't want to do things on Saturdays. That's a totally fair point from your company, but as a customer, I can also say that I think it's bad, which I do, and I think that not doing it on a Saturday morning is a poor choice for your player. I get that you're choosing your employees over your players, and that's fine for you to do. It's your business. But as one of those players, I can say, I wish you would have chose me. And doing it on a Friday morning, it sucks for people who have jobs and people who have lives, because it disqualifies them if they don't have the economic freedom to take that day off. So that's where I stand on it. No harm, no foul, Bungie. But as one of your players, I'm just gonna speak. I'm gonna advocate for the me's, for the me's of the world, not
for the player. It feels reasonable to ask, be like, hey, twice a year, whatever network team and stuff like that happens, can you get will you guys work on a Saturday? We're not asking us to work every trials weekend and every Saturday, but it is, and as a player, that seems reasonable. As a studio, they've chosen again to go the other direction. But as you said, does the Saturday open it up to more people? And it's like, okay, this is the weekend, and again, they're never going to find the perfect time or date for anybody. But in a general aspect, starting on a Saturday, you would have the most people join in to that initial race. You'd have more people having a break, more people time to do it, as opposed to Friday. You'll have more people probably watching than able to play it first.
Yeah, and people are making arguments in the comments, which is totally fine. Starting Friday and doing 48 hours is a better call. It's better call for more people to be accessible, but it's a worse call for who actually gets a shot at the world first raid. Because you can't start on Saturday and expect to win. It's just not going to happen.
And that's kind of thing is some people are like, you can take 2 days off a year. You can also take 2 days off a year. You can, but again, this is from the customer perspective versus the company perspective. Should somebody who wants to play a video game...
Should I be expected to take it off? And also, you're assuming that people can take 2 days off a year. Not everyone has that freedom in their jobs. Some people, they have to take work when they can get it. And so I think that's you maybe saying your situation. Not everybody has it. There's also not everybody works Monday through Friday. That's a fair point.
And you'll never find the perfect thing, but Saturday would be... Saturday and Sunday for a raid race
would be most engagement.
Feels like the most engagement and most initial attempts as well. So it's like, would we like to see them go back? Absolutely. Yeah, I'm with you. I'd like to see the Saturday.
So those are two things, and both of those things are about accessibility, where I err on the side of accessibility. Now I want to talk about difficulty.
Let's get it.
I think Scarrow's wrong. And I think he's one of the guys who's saying that it was too easy. And I think Datto's wrong.
Okay.
And I get why they're saying what they're saying, because they're the top 1% of Destiny. Actually, that's probably an understatement. They're probably the top 1% of 1%. They're very high up there. I get why they're saying it, because they're doing exactly what I would expect someone in their position to do, which is advocate from their perspective. But Bungie is probably asking themselves, who are we making this game for? Are we making it for the 4.5 million people that own this game and that want to participate in the raid right when it's new? Or are we making it for the streamers? And I've seen arguments like, well, look, it can be for everyone else after 48 hours. Give us 48 hours. And I find I have a really big trouble accepting that level of entitlement. Like, you own the first 48 hours of a raid, because then after the first 48 hours, after that magic is gone, then everybody's posting on LFG know what to do. Look it
Yeah,
up. Watch the
yeah.
Dado guide, and you know
Better
what you're
have.
taking. Yeah, and you know what you're taking away from those players? You're taking away the experience, the chance for them to experience themselves fresh for the first time and go in blind and figure things out for themselves. A lot of players have never had the opportunity to do that, and I wish more of them would. And so I totally get you advocating for your position. I also thought that it was probably a little too easy, but I'm a content creator. I work for IGN. Playing video games is my job, and I have the wherewithal to say if more people played this raid than any other raid combined, that is a good thing. That
Ding,
is
ding, ding,
great.
ding, ding,
That
ding,
is
ding,
great.
ding.
probably
It's great for Destiny. It's great for Bungie. It's great for players who got to experience it when it was fresh and when it was new. I'm super happy for you guys. And I hope it's a sign of things to come. I hope the next raid is played by even more people and completed by even more people, because that's great. So that's how I feel about it personally. I totally get where they're coming from. I'm sorry that Dado and Scarrow had to play a game and feel like it was not challenging when it was supposed to be their most challenging thing. I can empathize with that because I experienced the same thing when my favorite game mode, Trials of the Nine or Trials of Osiris, got run into the ground and made a casual mode by and large. So I totally get where you're coming from. But they're not making the game for you guys. And I think it would be very stupid of them to do so, because they've done that in the past. They've tried to follow what streamers tell them to do, and it never works. It just makes the player base smaller. And so totally get you, but I want more people to experience this stuff, and I'm glad that Bungie's going that direction. Good for you. Hashtag accessibility, I guess. I don't know. It's not even really a matter of accessibility. I just want the game to grow.
I was like, and I
So-
think, I mean, shout out to GK Bells with the $20 super chat. Thank you very much. Great take, Travis. Glad you're here. Also, shout out
Nice.
to Alex Nuche as well. Sephiroth. Travis spending his breath explaining the 6 by reiterating what's written in his review is why number reviews stink. They see a 6 and draw conclusions. It's like,
So I would say Alex, I agree with your sentiment, but that doesn't make the system suck. It makes the people who look at the number and refuse to read and just figure out what the number means.
oh, I think that's what he meant. Yeah.
Because really what a review is you're giving them a number so that you can it's your final recommendation, it's your conclusion.
Yeah.
But you have to still justify the 6. You have to explain why it's a 6. It's not like you can just be like, 6, it's my opinion. You have to say 6, it's my opinion, and here's my argument. Right. I'm making an argument and telling you why it's a 6. And so the thing that sucks about the numbered system is that a lot of people see the number and don't read. That's not a problem with the system, though. It's a problem with the people. And I have a problem with the readers, as you could tell if you saw any of my tweets at said readers this week.
I mean, people were quote tweeting you and comparing it to Shadowkeep's review. And that's the other thing. It's like, not to linger on this, but it's like nothing's in a vacuum. And we've talked about this before. We talked about it like probably last week. It's like the high from Witch Queen into Seraph to this, you set the expectations higher. They've theoretically been learning a lot of, I mean, we've seen storytelling get better over the past few years. Like Season of the Chosen onward, we've seen storytelling get better and continually be pretty solid. Even in like Season of the Haunted, I still had some cool stories to experience for the characters. I mean, you can't have something continue to build like that and have something fall so flat, not affect it. Same thing as when it comes to, the world design or something. You get something like the Throne World, which again, you can give or take the number of landing zones and how much you get to interact with certain pieces of it. But also you compare it to Neo Moonin when Travis is like, this is a lifeless place. Everybody's like a digital avatar. And you're like, everybody's in the Matrix. So there's me and some enemies out here. And then the encounter design, like exactly what Travis said. I mean, he said it multiple times. You don't need to defend when he already literally gave you all of the reasons for it. And people just don't read. And that's the biggest issue is they just see, oh, I'm just going to tweet with a number and I want to get interactions and all that stuff. It's like, dumbass, just read the article. And then if you have a different valuation of his argument, that's fine. But most every single person, if you look at a comment by somebody who reads the article and actually goes through it, if they read it, they may be like, hey, but it's a 7 to me. And that's a fine comparison because you can say certain things are valued. Like I enjoyed Strand a little more. I thought Neo Moonin, like the color scheme was cool. Like certain things are going to hit different. But if you just like, why is it a 6 versus this? That takes all the wind out of your own sails if you don't actually have a reason why.
Yeah.
You can value things different, but but as Travis said, if you can have a backup to your argument, that's fine. But if you just have like, oh, number,
well, it's emotionality, and that's just what it is. At the end of the day, You can love something, but you can be objective, you can be critical, and you can disagree respectfully. So a lot of that, what I realized was people are very passionate about something. Any type of perceived negative connotation, they want to attack the source, and that's just what it is without doing the research. But I'll jump in. This part has been going on for a while about the difficulty and the top guys kind of feeling away, and in respect to them, obviously we do lean on them for a lot of the guides and the information on how to clear and best strats and all of that good stuff. And I consider myself a very average to below average raid player. I've always been that way. I have a full-time job and a whole ton of responsibilities. The thing is, when it comes to this challenge, I personally am always going to look at the health of the game, and the content that Bungie is making, in my opinion, is what is some of the best content that a lot of the base still has not played. And if the majority of the base has not played, and they have the telemetry, they have the metrics to say, hey, our raids, no one's really playing. This percentage is just completely is missing out.
Is E clipping his fingernails right now?
It sounds like he is. Yeah.
Sorry, I had like a hangnail. Sorry, I was trying to get rid of it. It's just bugging me.
Nah,
Yeah,
you
my
good.
apologies.
You good. No, it's good. So at the end of the day,
Busted.
it's like they've got to address that. They have to have more people playing it. So to me, this is part of the process. I think there's two things going on. One, what we alluded to earlier, the fact that they've made the barrier of entry lower because of hey, no matter what you do, 1780, you're good. You'll have no other advantage over anyone else. That is huge because you get more people in the door.
Because start, Val?
I'm gonna say that's maybe sound about right. Because the days of
was before then.
I mean before Val?
Yeah.
Contest start.
There were contest modes. Because Deepstone Crypt, I have the contest mode emblem. So
okay.
Definitely was before.
Whenever they started it, I thought that was a great move because it was too much RNG, it was too much power per hours, too much full-time job energy, and you were dealing with having the luck of the draw. You didn't get the boots, and now that messed your thing up. It was so much issues and involving trying to get maximum light to have an advantage. So now you get to this raid. And yes, will I say it's more challenging than Val? Probably not. No. I think it's the raid itself is also part of it based on the way it's structured. But the core of this issue to me, and again, I don't want to be disrespectful because I love all you guys. I love Scara, I love Dad, I love all everybody who's full-time. I got love for you. But at the end of the day, that's your full-time job. Your full-time job with 5 other members who are a full-time job of playing Destiny every day. Yeah, it might be easier for you. It just might be. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, average Joe and the rest of the base that represents the majority of the base, it's a challenge. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always going to lean towards the majority to get them to access some of my favorite content. That's just where I'm always going to lean to. So I get it. People get frustrated. And all I could say is kind of like what Travis said. Like we had a conversation. Remember, we were going at it with the whole trials thing. Sometimes games do shift philosophy, right? And sometimes games, from a development standpoint, you have to make that decision. Is what they're doing taken away from my core enjoyment of why I'm here, right? And sometimes it's like, yo, maybe it ain't for you anymore because it's not this hardcore thing that it used to be, because they're now opening it up. If people want to say casualizing or whatever, that's fine. But their job is to their consumer, and they want the most engagement. So I'm always going to lean that way. So that's just where I'm at. I mean, it's unfortunate. I hope dudes ain't saying they quitting the game. I love those guys. I want them to be a part of it. But at the end of the day, to me, what's more important, and I end it with this, is when I get a guy like Mr. Matty Plays, who's like, yo, I see you guys playing. It looks cool.
Did he play the raid yet or no?
That's what he asked. He now got into Destiny. He's like, I did the Witch Queen, like you said. I'll do the other stuff. He's like, he did his first dungeon, E. And I said, which one did you do? He was like, bro, I did the one, I think it's called Prophecy. I said, oh, you picked the good. He was like, bro, he's like, is that like a mini raid? I was like, yeah. I said, it's like 3 player. I said, now picture that. 6 players. Everybody's got a role. He was like, bro, I have to do my first raid. I think he said, I'm scared. I think
If
I
he
might get
does
done it
raid,
yet?
ask him. I would
I'll do
actually
it.
love to raid with him. Yeah.
I want to
We
raid
got
with
him.
him.
All right, I'll
Let's do
tell him because he said,
Deep Stone Crypt.
yes. I said, bro, I got you. And that's what I want. I want the people who've never done, who've been scared to even step in there, to come away and have such an experience. And they go, bro, I get why you love this game. The dungeon convinced him, E. Now he's in. And that's
I
what
love
it's
dungeons.
about.
I don't doubt it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's about. Too.
Like, honestly, this raid would actually be pretty teachable because depending on if you put them on ad clear just to see and witness it and stuff like that, you could do pretty well in there.
Absolutely.
No,
Yeah,
it's
I just ran Deep Stone Crypt for the first time since the incident with the rocket launcher.
Yeah.
Sorry, the 52 incidents with the rocket launcher.
I thought it was like 82.
Yeah, no, I think I looked it up. It's like 50 something.
Okay.
It was 50 straight weeks. Felt like 150. I ran it for the first time with my fiance. It was her first raid, and
nice.
we were running some other people too, and it was great, man. It reminded. First of all, I kind of already forgot that raid, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
I had to relearn like that first encounter and the call outs underground and that sort of stuff. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I'm sure we'll play that one once it's easier.
Yes.
So yeah, survivability still,
of course,
it's not hard, but it's hard for people who aren't. You know what she hates? She hates the res token system.
I don't like it either.
She hates it. She hates it because she feels pressure on her, like she's wasting everybody else's tokens when she dies. And like we played the campaign together, just us two, and she's like, I can only die one time. I can only die one time. But we got through the legendary campaign, both the Witch Queen and this one this year. So yeah.
No, yeah, I will say that right now. Tokens do not belong in the legendary campaign on that playthrough. If you want to go back for the mission replays, higher difficulties, things like that, that's one thing. But that campaign should not have res tokens for a group. Makes it a unfun experience. I'm sorry, like, because a solo player, yeah, you die and you restart it. But if you can put a res timer on it, hey, you got to survive 30 seconds to be able to go pick them up. That's fine. Take the res tokens out of the campaign. Gone. I hate those things anyway. But in the like, if you're gonna put them in a master raid, whatever. Like, get like GMs, fine. Legendary campaign, just truly experiencing the story makes it unfun. And as you said, if somebody, I mean, I was the one stubbing my toe all over the place in that mission with you, and I kept screwing you over. Like, that shouldn't be a thing. Like, if I'm having an issue or whatever, and then he's able to stay alive, if he can survive for another 30 seconds, pick me up. Maybe it's a little longer the next time, but no, those need taken out. They're annoying anyway, but that's kind of a whole thing. No, what I wanted to say is, when it comes to the raid difficulty, as I said, it took us 16 hours. It wasn't just a cakewalk. Still to learn things. We were still dying. As you said on Nezarec with contest mode on, if that scythe, like void scythe attack that he does, and it just snipes you, you'd be going along, gone. Like, not much you could do because that was void resistance, concussor resistance, 100 resilience.
I learned about void resistance quick. I was getting destroyed in the middle by him.
You can have all of those on and still get one tapped, and we're going, that doesn't seem right.
So I'm gonna make a suggestion about your res token suggestion. So I don't know if it's that res tokens need to be gone. I think that they should just adopt the system they already have in place for lost sectors, where when you kill powerful enemies, you earn res tokens.
I would be okay with that too. Just not.
And then also res tokens can be used by anyone on the team. They're like a collective. Because right now it's weird that like everybody has one token and you have to remember who has what.
Got it.
And then
like, yo, I don't got nobody. Who can pick them up?
There's no benefit as the team when you're playing as a team. One person can screw you, and it's like, okay, yeah.
It's like just give us a big pool of res tokens, and then let us earn like 1 or 2 during an encounter by killing the champions.
I like that. That's a balance. That's a perfect balance. Yeah,
a million times better. They already have it in the game.
I know. I know.
It's already in the game. It's in the lost sector. It's so weird to me.
So what I wanted to say is, when it comes to difficulty, again, the elite people 2.5 hours. A lot of the high skilled teams were done in 4 to 5. For their, they get this once a year for a brand new raid, not a reprised raid. They get it once a year, and they want something to last a little bit longer. I can understand that, but on the other side, Bungie is looking at the number of engagement, the number of players that did it, and to them, they probably see it as a win. It's like, we got how many people tried to finish? Like 200,000 people finish this thing, and they normally don't get numbers remotely that high. And then you got more people now who have finished it on difficult mode, who can also help other people do it. not every one of those people is going to be a know what to do asshole. Some of them will, but not all. So you have more people that will share. My issue, and I think this is where the other side comes in, when the master raid drops, which it inevitably will.
Let's go.
The issue is when master drops, same thing with lost sectors right now, same thing with the dungeons. When you get to a high difficulty in Destiny, you are not rewarded for it. So
Factual.
so your contest, your normal, whatever that, I mean, contest and normal, however you're going to do loot, that's fine. But when you get in there, it's like, now we're going to have like, technically you're going to be able to get enhanced raid weapons.
Right.
I will never probably, it's still not enough to set it apart. Like Artifice Armor doesn't even come from the Master Raid, which is dumb. That should be a thing.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
The stats that you can get, they said they bumped up the stats for Artifice Armor. I have been doing the farming cheese. I can tell you that is not a guarantee. If you go through a master dungeon as a normal person, you're not cheesing this thing like I am. 100%, by the way, I made a video on it.
Hey, shout out to
It's still
Galround, fall off
active.
the cliff.
I can solo run that thing in 6 minutes by myself. So if you want some Artifice Armor, go to
Oh,
it.
I'm coming. Wait. What you
We
doing?
can
You
do
doing
this after.
show?
I'll show you after
Oh, I
the
mean,
show,
I'm
dude.
doing what we doing. I need to get in.
But the idea is, if you, on a normal situation, if you put yourself to level up for an encounter, build up your loadout, talk as a team, and you get through a master encounter, and I get a 60 Artifice Armor, it's trash. Yes, it's Artifice. You already have to finish the encounter. Then you have to try and get the slot of the armor you're going for. Then you have to get the total stat, like, roll. Like, hey, I want something. 64 and up, I'm going to be okay. If it's distributed right, 64 and up, I can work with. I should not see anything below that in a master encounter, period. Because you also have to have it roll total well. And then you still have to get a distribution. If I see 27 mobility on a Titan, I'm like, it may as well be a 47 instead of a 67. It doesn't matter. So... The issue is, like, master difficulty will come out, and that may challenge because you're going to have champions. You're going to have to coordinate more. You're going to have to level up more. And that will drop 6 weeks or whatever from now. And, 65 and up. Exactly. Like, there's a point you get to. And if that player doesn't get rewarded for their efforts in the master difficulty stuff, same thing with Lost Sectors right now. They said they even bumped them up. Still not great. Yeah, 9 legend. Ugh. That's the issue. And that's the point where Bungie has a rewards issue problem, and especially at the highest level, they are afraid to reward you with too much because they always have to balance PvP and all these other things. There needs to be some. The fact that Artifice Armor is not in a master raid, that's an issue. Should be fixed.
Yeah.
That is not a hard fix. But that's kind of the thing. It's like, if you were guaranteed, like, hey, I do a master raid, you're going to get a 66 to 68. Period. Maybe you could actually get up to 70 if you did the master level content. Because exotics, I think, can roll up to like 70 or 71, but it's rare. But if you could go like 65 to 70, guaranteed to do a master, and it was Artifice, now the challenge presents you as a way to be worth it. And that's, I think, where the issue comes in as well for the people who are annoyed. It's like, they want the contest to be cool for the challenge, but then when the actual higher level challenge comes out, it's not worth the juice isn't worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
And then that point, the high level content's just like, why am I doing this? Now, the enhanced weapons for adept weapons that you can, like, get the random roll and then get the enhanced perks on it, it's not a bad way to go. But for most people, it's not going to be worth it. Some people will. But it's like such a slight. They're always worried about the power creep thing. And that's an issue that Destiny has had. But they could be, I mean, God forbid you have like, oh no, now everybody who does master raids gets 65 to 70 armor. You still have to roll the dice that it's right. Like, you're still going to be playing that thing for a little while to get a perfect build.
Can we get to the elephant in the room? And Bungie, I love you, but I am frustrated that this game has so many bugs and glitches, right? And it's a laundry list of things. Like, I'm talking about, we raiding and people like, yo, everybody's invisible right now. And I'm like, really? He's like, yo, I can't see, so I'm just gonna go off the cuff because the game, like, this is consistent now. Oh yeah, right?
No, it's supposed to
hard crashes,
supposedly fixed today, but
commendation issues. But God forbid the Destiny community finds out an exploit or how to get something. God forbid we figure out how to get Galron to jump off a roof. Here come why does the speed of the patches increase off of our enjoyment? Where is the basic patches for the quality of life? Like, why is that speed? Why is there not an urgency there? I gotta call it. I'm sorry,
Oh
maybe
no, like go
anecdotal,
watch
but
True Vanguard's.
bro,
I made it through halfway through True Vanguard's rant, all about PvP for the same
bro,
stuff, same idea.
the bug police is very selective. They're very selective out here with what they fixing. Because what is the artifice armor going to do? And then, like you said, it's still such a random loophole
Oh, I got so
on
many
what you can
60s
get.
and high mobility. Like I'm throwing away most of the stuff that I got anyway.
Yo, the feds or the bug QA team. Oh, they ain't no joke. Don't let nobody be smiling and make a video. You know it's funny when the streamers gotta say, "Hey, hurry up before they find it."
Oh, of course, yeah. That's why I stayed up till 1 o'clock last night with Mano, because we figured it's like, hey, it's probably going to be fixed in the hotfix. Now I went back after the hotfix, and you can still do the run, but they turned off the checkpoint joining. So right now you can't join at that checkpoint, and that messes up a dungeon, and that dungeon is paid content again.
Bro, I will give them credit though. They did let the Neomuno cheese with the double chest. That's still rocking.
Oh,
I'm
still
shocked.
going. Yeah.
I'm shocked that one's still rocking.
You're not getting
But
much
this-
from the double cheese. It's like world drops and little
Yeah,
bit of
they like-
reputation. It's not a big deal.
Artifice armor, you going to jail. We
Yeah.
stopping that.
Oh, it's true though. That's been their MO for years now. If there's a cheese, they will shut it down, disable it. I mean, they disabled necrotic grips, or was it something 5 minutes before the raid? Or something like that. Now, I mean, I saw a video or something, and it is damn near completely busted. I get it. But again,
Incandescent, the necrotic. Oh boy.
Yeah, there's some crazy builds that people are doing, but also it's like, at some point they need to lock things in, and they disable it 15 minutes before. Not really a great, like, timing wise to be like, I got my build, I don't have my build. What the hell? So yeah, the priority of bugs sometimes is a thing. Would that have messed up the raid race? Yeah, probably. So I mean, I kind of get why. But as for, the priority of invisible people, that's apparently a harder fix. But also it's like, goes back to the question of velocity over quality. This is their thing right now, and we're seeing this is the whole expansion of velocity, because they had to get it out to give time for Final Shape to hit a final expansion, delay, so they could fit this expansion that they made up that wasn't even announced in the first place. And again, Bungie, as I said, we do love you, so it does sound like I'm crapping on you right now, but it is one of those that the more the velocity argument just lingers in the back of my mind when you hear it's a GDC talk. They said it. I didn't say it. They said it. But the more you hear about that, and the more you see, like, the train has to keep going, even if, like, you got to try and fix this, like, wheels brakes while the thing's moving. That's the train we're on right now. You can't stop it. So if it's broken, you just got to kind of follow along on the bumpy ride until this thing gets fixed, and that probably threw something else off, and it goes on and on. But no, I completely agree. The bugs, the invisible, I mean, multiple people in our raid, they were invisible. They're like, got to close the game out, come back in, start it over. Yeah. And then PlayStation, I know Rook, he hasn't been on Neomuna hardly at all. PlayStation, I think it's PS5 or something like that. PlayStation right now in Neomuna, especially if you get the exotic public event encounter, the one that will drop an exotic, crashes. Neomuna will crash PS5.
Wow. You know what crashes me on Xbox? Don't go and look at commendations. When you go, like, bro, when you see the commendation score, because I went to go check and I wanted to see how it was distributed. Hard freeze, crash 2-3 times. I don't even check it. I'm like, I see the number. I'm good. I don't want to know what the distribution is. Yes, commendation or Series X is busted.
I think that might be a you thing.
Oh yeah.
I have 2 Series X's and neither of them do that.
The only thing I would think of in your defense is that I think maybe it's a cache issue, because I saw a message from Xbox. So I'm going to try that on my Xbox to see if I have to clear the cache
or reset.
Yeah, I did see like a cache thing, but I'm like, bro,
do you have
like, it's going to happen to you. Okay, because I can't see my comments.
Do you have like all of your quick start games, like all 6 of them just hanging there like all the time?
No. I don't. I'm going to quick resume. Yeah, I actually cast all of that, but I think there's an internal cache. I'll try that fix and then see what it is. Yeah. But yeah, I was just like, I ain't touching it no more.
Can we talk about accommodations for a second?
Oh God. Yeah.
Like, I know it's not going to be a long conversation, and the fact that they lowered the number of commendations needed for the ranks, take it out of everything. And I've seen this by multiple people. Commendations should not be tied to pinnacles. Commendations should not be tied to guardian ranks. It is a nice system to give a thumbs up to somebody else. You typically don't have enough time, but if you actually take the time to be like, hey, this person was helpful, or this person killed it in PvP, and it's also not on it's on a separate screen from the actual, like, in-game screen. Commendations are Yeah, no. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that system should not have launched as is and should not be tied to any rewards,
Yeah.
no. Take it out, and
It's
yeah, Tassie said the same
it
thing, and I'm probably just repeating it, but no, as
yeah.
soon as it was tied to a Pinnacle, and then as soon as it was just like, "Oh, CP just trying to spam it so I can get it done," so just as soon as it became a spammy thing, I'm like, "No, this sucks. I don't care. I may be Guardian rank 7 forever, but I just don't care."
I can't even get to 7 because I'm just like
I
and then I
got
get
it
mad.
because they lowered it from I think the top was 6,000 for rank 11,
Bro,
which is
I'm starting to get toxic positivity, bro. I look at the duels and you ain't give me no commendation after this strike,
Oh
bro.
yeah. If you don't give
yeah.
me commendation, or if you give me
Or if they
Joybringer,
left too early.
I will literally kill you if you give me Joybringer.
And
I
if
will
they
come to your
left,
house.
it's so annoying when they leave too early.
They
You're like, I can't even
leave.
give the
You
conference.
can't even give the commendation.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm
fair.
like, if you're
Like,
in the in-game screen and I can't give you one, then that's yeah,
and
6,000
then
went down to 1,800. That alone tells you this is another
yeah,
one of those moments, like the triumphs before. You need to kill 250 champions. You need to get 6,000. Did you do the math on how long that? No.
ruffian talk.
Ah, the
I'll be
whole
honest.
commendation system just, it's so wrong.
It's
Yeah.
So
so
wrong.
badly conceived. I talked about it in my review. I think the worst part for me is the resetting, because they
Oh,
said
the
that
Guardian
whole
ranks
point,
resetting. That's another.
yeah, because they said the whole point of Guardian ranks is to tell other people how experienced you are in Destiny, and if it
Yeah.
resets, what does that mean? If
No.
everybody's 6 every season, it's like,
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, and
bro, come
everybody
on.
yeah,
They
if
have
you
to
had
do
20
something.
hours or 2,000 hours, everybody was, like, rank 6
Right.
all at the same time. I'm like, "Well, this doesn't mean anything."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's be real. There's dudes that's like, if you like you see, you the flawless solo dude. Like off rip, you should have, in my opinion, you should have a higher guardian rank than me. We should not all be
I
started.
mean,
Like
all
there
of us
should
should
be
be
a
higher than
resume.
all of us
Yeah.
should be higher than the average tower person just because 'cause we've done so much stuff.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
just
I got a friend back into Destiny who hasn't played for a couple years, and they were 6.
you're the same
And I
level.
was like,
What?
you've never done a Grandmaster Nightfall, you've never gone flawless in trials, you've never done a raid, you've never in level 6, and I'm
Level
level
6.
6. It's like,
Yeah,
this
like
is gonna be
what?
every season, really? Oh yeah, what a great reputation
No.
score. I for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
No,
incredible.
And the
as soon
yeah.
as I saw those commendations and stuff like that, I was like,
Yeah.
"Nope, don't care."
And the last one is stupid. Like a lot of times I'll do like what is it, the seasonal content, and at the end it's like 2 options. You brought joy to someone. Like it's not even accurate. Like
No, yeah,
to
there's
what
not a
the
lot of great
occasion is.
options. Yeah, like a
Options.
strike
Yeah.
has 2 things, PvP will have certain things. There's not like they don't matter, and they're
Yes.
they're not great. I understand they want to keep things positive. That's one thing you could be
Right.
like informative. Like there are
Right.
different words that they could use and also have choice. You could have choice over more than 2 words in
Knowledgeable.
strikes.
Mhm.
Knowledgeable. Hey, they threw the ball
Yeah.
in the
I
corrupted
feel like
strike.
I
Like
feel I feel like raids are good, but
Yeah, raids are good.
they clearly just made enough so that everyone can get one unique
Yep.
one, which seems crazy
Yes.
to me. I
Yes.
feel like you should be able to give commendations, and unless it's like most helpful, you should be able to give like 3 people knowledgeable if they all
Yeah.
were whatever
yeah.
you want.
Mhm.
And then yeah, for strikes they just need more variety, so it's not like
Yes.
thoughtful and Joybringer are the most like useless terms I've ever heard of.
Yeah,
And
They
everybody knows that Joybringer is an insult and doesn't want that. If you give me Joybringer, like I'm gonna
I'm blocking
come to
you.
your house. I'm coming to your house,
Ah, you
bro.
can send a
Coming
nasty
to your
message.
house.
And
Because
this is
Joybringer just means you weren't good, but it was fun to watch you try. That's what Joybringer means, and that's the
this is
implicit.
and this is where it's like I hate being an armchair developer in these situations. I do.
Yeah.
Because I sit here, it's like, here's a new system you launched, and I'm just basically crapping all over it.
Yeah.
But as a player, this is how we feel. It's like, I don't know how the testing got approved and all these other things. And if this either goes back to velocity, hey, this is what we have for now, we'll see how it goes. But again, I have to ask, like, the people in line that gave it the check mark to actually keep approving this thing to go to, like, publication, how did it get through enough people in the state to say, yeah, we'll do this now? It's like, hey, we were going to do commendations, let's wait a season and we can put it out in a better place. I mean, I would much rather have seen that as opposed to
Yeah.
hate commendations right now. I feel like that would have been the better choice because content would be there and commendations are not adding anything to this right now. They're just making it
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
That's just one of those,
Variety.
I hate being an armchair developer and being like, oh, I
Yeah,
totally know what's easy. But on the other side, as a player, I also know what doesn't feel good.
Yeah, we have to
Yeah.
talk about the experience, right? We got to be
It's a
honest about it.
1.0, but yeah, the commendations I don't have
0.8 maybe?
I don't have a huge problem with accommodations. I mostly have a problem with how they tie into Guardian rank and how
Yes.
Guardian rank is
Yes.
resetting. Those are the big
I
The
things.
100%
resetting on
agree.
Guardian ranks should not happen.
Yeah.
That I mean, Tassie had an
Bro.
article too, probably as well.
Holding up my 7, man. I'm stuck as a 6.
But yeah, it's like when you fact that it's like when you only have to do the seasonal
I'm-
content. But I'm like, that doesn't matter if I'm like the resetting of things is just not feeling good, and I don't want another thing that I already hate the artifact going back down. That's just frustrating.
Yeah. I'll be honest. The only thing that's keeping me from being a 7 is the accommodations.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
that's
barely
the same
passed
thing.
that. That was the
I'm-
last thing I
I'm-
needed. I just
I'm
barely.
just
passed that.
waiting. I have a friend who's 8. And
Now,
I'm
some
like,
people farmed
yo,
commendations, so they knocked that
yeah,
out.
there's commendation farming. So
Farmers
the best
did.
strat is you get into a group of 5
Wellspring
people.
rocket
You get into a group
launchers.
of 5 people you know. You go into
Mhm.
Crucible, and then you all commendate each other after every match. That's how you
Well,
do
no,
it.
the
That's what they
faster
do.
one's Wellspring, shoot yourself with a rocket launcher, and
Yep.
it was
That's
the
what Dusty
dying.
and them do.
Now they
Yep, the
changed
dying.
that. Now this is the thing. This is one of those things they
Oh, that's
patched.
crazy.
When the FBI
They
came again. The bug
patched
FBI.
that.
Wow, I didn't even hear about that exploit, but that's hilarious.
Yeah,
Farming
Oh, I did that with
commendations
Dusty.
is a
Ducky
new
did
low for Destiny.
Yeah,
Farming
shout Ducky
commendations.
in there.
Where? Hold
Put me
on.
onto it.
I'm trying to read it. But yeah, that was fixed. I can tell
Wait, so you did that and you still aren't at enough commendations?
I
I
to
didn't
rank
do
it?
it. No, I know
What?
about it. I
What?
didn't. Here, commendations.
I
Players can no
partook.
longer offer commendations to others following a failed mission activity. So now if you go through a raid and you fail,
okay.
you can't even say, hey, good
So,
try.
I think that's a bad move, Bungie. You should let them continue to give accommodations, but make them negative. Make it like one should be like dead weight if they were the person who made you fail the most. One should be like for, like if somebody was super frustrating, or I feel like there should be commendations, but they should be negative, and they should show up on your profile as like you got hit with this flack on your account. You know what I mean? That'd be great. That'd be awesome.
So yeah, I saw that and I was just like, yeah, commendations being wrong, and now they're like, if you want a commendation farm, you can't do that anymore. And it's just like that.
There they go.
Yeah, it's
Wait, what? They cap the amount of times you can give the same group commendations?
yeah. The more times you do the more
insane.
times you do the same activity. Like if you're saying say you're doing Iron Banner or something, I think.
Yeah.
And you're in the same group and
Yeah.
you commendate each other at the end, it has less value over the more times you do it with the same group.
Oh my god, I would love to make a negative commendations for Bungie. Bungie, pay me. I'll consult.
Oh, yeah, you'll be hilarious.
Dude, I'll be so good at this. Okay, I've got one. So one will be called like the cry wolfer. That's the person who blames like lag or like my controller died or like whatever. Whenever something goes wrong, like they blame,
everything's
like,
wrong but them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that you should have one for the guy who bobs in front of you when you're in DPS phase shooting a rocket launcher.
that
PvP
dude.
people, stop moving.
I want a like you could call that something like ADHD DPS or something like that.
Oh,
I don't know.
ADDPS.
ADDPS. Something like that. No, there's so many good negative commendations. I think we need to get that in there right away.
Dude who jump off the mat and quit on you on trials after y'all down 2-0, 3-0, and he know it's an L, and he leave his team. That dude gotta get a super
just
negative
quitter,
comment.
quitter.
Or I've got one. The guy who doesn't mute his mic when he eats. That needs to be a commendation.
Shout out to that.
For real. That guy needs to be a commendation.
That has been a pain point for you for a
Crunchy
while
chips.
now. Yeah.
Or how about this? How about this? Dude who holds up the group activity because they're talking to their streamers. Douchey streamer needs to be a commendation. I want to give that.
How about the guy who holds up the start
Fran
of
Mirabella needs that commendation like as many times as possible because that dude will
the
just be
vaping
like,
guy.
the vaping guy.
Yeah,
sure.
always the vaping guy.
The vaping
The
guy
guy with the kids, the kid that's too loud in the back. That guy.
for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
this sounds like the kids like talking into the side of the microphone. I'm like, what is going on over there? I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good negative commendation list.
Yeah,
And I honestly feel bad for the people who made Guardian Ranks and Commendation System because I am crapping on your work that you probably put months and months of work into, and I am sorry, but it does need work. It's not done yet.
Activity to change. Yeah, the dude who holds up the activity to change the shaders and emblem and ship. Me, yes,
That's the
I
cog.
deserve a negative.
Yeah.
I'm holding up.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll
yeah,
just
that's
call it the cog. Yeah, he's got to change his mods, loadouts. He's got to
Yeah,
look.
yes.
He's got to look pretty
Oh,
so he can run a raid. I'm
Hey.
like, dude, you could be in your underwear and finish this encounter.
Listen, I blame
Commendation
Bungie.
to the prima donna. That one's
Prima
perfect.
donna. I like that.
that's-
Yeah, I
that's a
like
perfect
that. I
one.
like that. Because I blame Bungie because their loadout system don't carry over the thing like Dim does. Dim has my emblem, my ship, everything it remembers, but they just remember my loadout. That's it. So
The fact that you care enough to change your ship and your emblem cracks me up.
Oh, the loadout shamer is a great commendation. Guy who goes through everybody's loadout.
Inspects everybody. Yeah, the shamer.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Why are you bringing that? What is that?
You
Yeah,
should
we
probably
could
put
call
this
it-
mod on instead. I did that
Mhm.
once, but yeah.
We could call that one douchebag Holmes.
Oh
There
my
we go.
God.
Douchebag Holmes. I like that.
Because he keeps
Keeps
inspecting.
yeah.
We definitely get canceled.
Well, I don't know if we're gonna have any more Bungie employees back on the podcast anytime soon, but we love you. But we have opinions. This is all coming from a place of love and passion.
Real talk though. Do you honestly think Bungie is surprised by the reception?
No, I think they know.
I feel like the testers have to have told him, and then it's the whole velocity, and it just had to go. I think it is that point where they may have said, "Hey, this is just something we're gonna have to take the feedback, fix it on the fly, let them know it's in the works." But there are, I can't. If the QA team exists, there's no way they're totally clueless. It can't be. I don't feel like they can think that.
100%.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 in situations like this.
Grade report elitist guy. That's a great commendation.
Yes,
That's
grade
a
report.
great
When they
commendation.
do that, when Bray on his clears. Yeah, 9 times out of 10, they already know. There's a decision up top. It's got to come out, and they're willing to deal with the consequences.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about us doing what we're doing is that we justify middle to the lower management. I said, you see, this is why we was telling y'all we need to hold up, blah, blah, blah. An overarching decision up top was made, in my opinion, in this case. That's just my guess on what happened.
I mean,
because they're smart. They've been around. They know this stuff. That
and
we're
even
saying.
that season of the Seraph was short.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this annual cycle they seem to be on right now, and it feels like, I mean, this season we're in is definitely not any longer than it has to be. I think it's a tight 12 weeks or something. It's pretty, because it was like May 22nd versus February 28th. So it is right there, just 3 months, bam. So, yeah, which really sucks for Diablo 4.
So I was thinking about this, and I don't know if Bungie does this, but it's pretty standard in the industry. There are actually companies that exist, and they all have really amusing names. That basically there are third-party companies that game developers hire, and they come into they send somebody or sometimes multiple people into your company to play your game and then write reviews about your game before it's public. And basically the idea is that they're giving you early warnings about the stuff that you might get dinged for, and a lot of them are like retired reviewers or people like that don't do reviews anymore, and they'll they'll basically say, like, here's the score I think you would get, or here's a score I would give you if I was reviewing the game now, and here's the things I think you could change to bump it up a few points. And I know sometimes even small companies make use of those because a lot of times it's really unclear what reviews you're going to get. So I wouldn't be surprised if Bungie, especially now being under the umbrella of Sony, I'm sure they did it when they were under Activision. I would be surprised if they didn't do it too. So I'm always of the opinion that I think developers know exactly where their game stands generally, because they play so much of it. There's no way any of it is a surprise to them, and they definitely know its shortcomings. But maybe they're surprised how much the core Destiny players that never criticize them actually finally started to criticize them. Maybe they were kind of doing that. Does it pay better than actual published reviews? Almost certainly. Problem is, you have to be really well established to do it, because you have to convince a company that you not only know how to write reviews, but that your reviews are somewhat reflective of how most people feel. You can't be just like a weirdo.
You would have to have a long track record of like pretty solid history.
I would probably be terrible at it because people know me as a hard reviewer, and I'm not like the average game review, probably. Although I do end up in the middle score a lot of times, so I don't know.
It's fair critiques because it's hard for things to be very, very good.
It is. Making games is hard.
Trials is coming tomorrow, actually, since Iron Banner. Yeah, that was another bug. Iron Banner's here. No, it's not. No, you didn't see that. That came and went for a hot 10 minutes or something.
What happened?
Iron Banner was technically there. Saladin was in the tower at reset, and then they pulled him out because he was not supposed to be there because people were invisible, and they're like, yeah, we're fixing that on Thursday, so we're doing Iron Banner next week. So yeah, the Invisible's supposed to be fixed. Trials is coming back tomorrow. Apparently the SMG, which everybody's gonna want, is supposed to be there. Like that thing can get rangefinder and kill clip on an SMG. So the PvP players will be playing a lot this weekend. I think Trials will have a pretty solid population, and fire team based matchmaking is supposed to be tested. Freelance is supposed to not be needed anymore, so I will definitely have to put some time in. I have family coming in, which kills me because I want to play Diablo and that, and I have literally no time. So I'm gonna be in here like sleeping quietly, like working away while everybody's doing stuff. But I do want to test it. Now they said the flawless pool is still gonna be there, which they do want to eventually remove that, I know. But I will be curious to see if I jump in and I'm just seeing 3 stacks against me, I'm not going to be happy. But if I'm seeing a good mix, then, you know, I will be happy if it works. But until I try it, I don't know. But that will be feedback for next week. We'll have to see.
Still doing freelance-y?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, I never go flawless, but I always get my 7 wins. And the nice thing they did change this time, they said if you can get 7 wins on a card, you can cash that card in for 1 adept. I actually have the ability to get 1 adept roll. Yeah, so you get your like you get the 50 wins, which is I think like the director triumph, like 50 round wins, and the more like match wins you have, it kind of multiplies. But if you get a 7 win card, you are able to cash that in for 1 adept.
7 total win non-flawless.
Correct. Yep.
Wow.
That's pretty crazy.
That's new.
Yeah, I think you can only get so yeah, Trials is more and more of a shell of what it used to be, Travis. But
casual,
yeah, it's engagement at this point.
It's a casual mode, and I'm over it. I've given up.
Yeah.
I really want to play that now that you've mentioned that because I don't know, I haven't been playing a lot of PvP recently because usually when I hop into Destiny now, it's to keep up on whatever content they've added or, you know, working on the review. There was no reason to do Crucible matches. I think I did like 3 or 4 matches just to try it out.
Just a few Pinnacles is all I've been doing it for.
Yeah, and then because I have less time to play Destiny now, I'm not as good at PvP. You know, I'm kind of, you know, I'm relying on the old hand cannon and bow.
I'm gonna say you still probably beat me in a 1-on-1, so I wouldn't worry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay. I'm not trying to say I'm bad, but yeah, that makes me want to play, but unfortunately, I have to do the Diablo IV stuff this weekend.
Yeah, I do want to jump in, because I bought this, and then the open beta is next weekend, so I'll definitely do that basically like full time next weekend. But I wanted to try.
This week if you pre-order.
Pre-order is this weekend, and then the KFC thing is this weekend. Next weekend is open, like download it and go. Yep. That's KFC more of a server stress test.
Cog, I dare you to try to eat that double down
in one sitting without a fork, apparently.
No, I'm saying if you, I just, you know, if you care about your skin health at all, I really recommend not pushing that thing.
He'll just have some to-go food and like the mustache and the facial hair. He'll just take a little extra to go.
He's a neat eater. I think he cares about his skin more than he's laying on. He's capping so that he can.
You gotta get into it.
He's over there.
I'm into that.
You eat, you're hella neat, bro. Don't try to.
A nice establishment. I ain't gonna, embarrass the boy.
Bro, I've seen you at multiple. I saw you 6 margaritas in, and you were still eating
at the Mexican spot.
Yeah, at the one near my house.
Oh, that was you guys.
The one near my house. He was 6 margs in, and he was still neat as can be. So I was like, this guy.
We were sharing. What I was supposed to do?
Don't step to me, bro. Don't come on.
Extra savage with it. Yeah, bro. That was fun. The box was. Oh man, that place. I like that place.
That place was really good. Yeah,
that place was good.
I've been back since you were out here, so I might go sometime.
Coming back. I'm coming back.
Well, I think that's all we've got for the week. Do you guys have anything else you want to drop for thoughts of past week of Destiny?
Last thing I got, shout out to the Vex Caliber mission. I finally did it. Liked it. Love the weapon. I'm learning the loop. I got to go get the catalyst, which I'm dreading. I heard that the master is crazy. I got the master one done.
We tried it. I tried it with, who was it? Ducky and Sen. And we got to the mid boss section, and we were just getting lit up on the drop into the pit, like collect the moats area. On Legend, it's just a pain. I mean,
I tried it alone at 1808, and I could not get through like the opening area. It was just like, dude, I'm just getting destroyed out here. So
that's the other thing now. It's like, yeah, they're level caps, but I still got to get up to 18, 15 to be like talking about those level caps first. So I do eventually have to do my solo video. It is going to be a pain. I saw Mano actually put one out. He did a good job. Solar Titan build for him was kind of the way to stay alive, just because of the bonk hammer, and I think he had syntheseps. So between that, hammer go bonk, and that gets you a lot of healing and healing grenades. Like, your ability to stay alive it's rough. The fact that they put you in a hole, chickens come up and they can shoot down in there, and on Legend those guys are just lighting you up. I don't love that build. The final fight I'm okay with. The Brachion 3 level, actually, I like how that was done. I do not like jump in the hole and hang here and hope you don't die. Like, I don't love that.
Put me on Sim before the feds come. Oh, word? There's a cheese? Oh,
there's a cheese for the final boss, but you still got to get through the other part.
Okay.
But yeah, if you can get through the other part, then
super hard. I don't recommend doing it alone.
That'll be a stupid test for me later.
You need a blinding nade for
blinding GL would probably help for the chickens, that too.
Okay.
Just go invis. We were not with an invisible character. Yeah.
Damn hunters, just go invis. Hunters.
But I was like, that's not good design if that's the idea. That's the key. Travis is saying just jump in the end, but it's the fact that you have to like deposit. It's the depositing time where we're getting wrecked because there's just a lot of stuff firing at you, and you have to stand in the middle of a circular arena, as you always do. This whole design philosophy of circular arena, 7,000 guys can kill you.
Infinite spawns.
Spawn.
Yeah, and they never stop.
Need to go, and there's so many encounters in this entire expansion.
Yeah.
I didn't talk about that in review because I felt like it was too in the weeds.
Yeah.
But like, honestly though, like, that's new to Destiny. That hasn't always been the case where they just spawned infinitely.
You never get to a point where you feel like you can catch up. And on that circular room,
no.
If you get behind and more of them spawn, oh, that's hell. That happened to me. I barely survived one of my runs on that. Warlock, well, I mean, we had bubbles. We actually had bubbles for that part. We were just trying to like rotate the bubbles and time it right, and we almost got there, but it's just, that's another, I think it was tokens that killed us a couple times too. Yeah, because it was token resing on that. So if one of us died and we were actually able to pick him up, then if another one were like, well, we don't have a token, failed this one. And that's, again, I don't love the whole token system. Yeah, it's a checkpoint, but it's just a pain in the ass section.
Gotcha. All right, so at least it's checkpoints. I thought it was orbit alpha all three.
I just got to show you that, like, once we finish with the podcast, I just got to show you the artifice run one time and show it to you. So, yeah.
Cow wrong.
He's easy. But that's all we got. So, gentlemen, if you want to kind of do your outros, we will wrap up another episode. If you guys have been out there enjoying the show, please drop a like. If you are listening on audio, whether it's iTunes or Spotify, please drop a positive review. Always beneficial. If you guys are on Spotify, we used to distribute through Anchor. Anchor apparently got bought by Spotify, so now it's like Podcast by Spotify. So kind of, but there are sometimes like Q&As and polls and stuff like that. So if you're on Spotify, check that stuff. I've been trying to occasionally throw some stuff out there just to get some interaction with you guys. People were pretty consistent. There were somewhere between some 7s, some 5s, some 6s. I asked where the ranking was, and it all kind of rounded out to where Travis ended up. So what do you know? But yeah, Travis, what do you got? Coming, cooking? Otherwise?
Yeah, so this week I released a interview with the CEO of Gunfire Games, David Adams, to talk about dynamic world creation in Remnant 2. And we also revealed the handler archetype, which is a subclass in Remnant where you get a dog. So check that out on IGN first if you'd like. And then next week, I have another content, and then the week after that I've got my final piece, which is going to be the full opening of the kimono, as it were, where I can talk about everything I saw. Well, most of what I saw, maybe 80%. The other 20% I will literally never be able to talk about until it's out, which is unfortunate. Then follow me on Twitter at TyGuyTravis, and this week on a Bitcast on Sunday morning, we'll be talking about a whole bunch of stuff, because last week we did a fundraising quiz.
Saw that. Nice.
Trivia quiz, which was horrible, as Cog can attest.
Oh, I mean, everybody failed, but it was nice what you guys did.
It was hilarious, but the questions were whack as hell. They were so arbitrary. It was like,
unfair
what?
and
What
arbitrary.
year
I would have
did
got a
the,
0. It's fine.
insane. You join us on that if you want. But I'm chilling, man. I'm gonna have a raid guide for y'all at some point, and Diablo 4. I'm gonna start talking about that. So
Yeah.
if you're interested in that game, follow me on Twitter because I'm gonna be tweeting about it a lot. Big Diablo fan, and really excited to dive in and play through all of the beta, multiple characters with our new. By the way, Cog, do you know about this? Because you're a wolf guy.
Yeah.
I guess he kind of is too. You
Yeah.
guys are both wolf lovers. If you get to level 20 in the Diablo 4 beta, you get a wolf pack that is like a little cradle that hangs off the back of your character, and it has a baby wolf in it that's fully animated. It like rolls around and like, gets comfy every once in a while.
Can
on
you
the
do
back
that
of you.
in either beta, just over the course of the betas you have to get to 20?
Get to level 20 with any character over either beta, and then it unlocks in the full game, and then you just get that item forever.
I will be working on. See, told you I wanted to play.
There you go. It's pretty cool. I think even my fiance is like, we have to do it. We have to grind. I must have the baby wolf.
Gotta grind.
You gotta grind.
I love it.
Actually, it's literally called Beta Wolf. Get it?
Nice.
It's kind of funny. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Cal level. That was a D2 thing. Yep.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Cow attack.
Be curious what we find. What about you, Cog? What do you got coming up? Any fantastic guests? Just a chill show? I don't even know what King was like. I haven't even listened yet.
It's ridiculous. It was funny though. It was really good. We had this fictional story of a cancer patient named Little Timmy that because Starfield missed that date, he's not gonna make it, and the Xbox did.
I actually know. I take it back. I tuned in and I remember that now. I tuned in for a little bit and I was like, "What is happening?"
So out of pocket, but it was the funniest thing because he's so angry. So it was just funny. So salute to him. This week we have Harold Goldberg, so part of the New York Video Game Awards Critics Circle. We'll have him on, talk about his journalism career, talk about what he's doing in the games industry. Very powerful, do a lot of positive stuff as far as bringing gaming into classrooms and curriculum and stuff like that in New York City. So big get. And as far as be on the lookout, LordCognito.net and ILP, we were able to get to chance to play Redfall behind the scenes. Shout out to Bethesda. Got an invite, and
I'm so curious about Maddie. I'm so curious about Maddie's take on that.
Yeah, he was there. I can't talk right now because I'm under NDA. But it would be very soon. It'll be very soon. Impressions, on how that whole experience was. But yeah, shout out to Bethesda. I think you'll see what we have to say there. And then Definer Duke. The same old Mr. Maddie Plays. Get a little fun episode out now. And that's pretty much it. Then PAX next week. So I'm just prepping for PAX. A lot of cool games I'm seeing, getting to get out there and see what's going on. If you're in Boston, come check me out. I'll be at the Demio booth. Have some fun, play with the Lord, play some VR, play some, Demio with me if you're into that kind of thing. And shout out to Resolution Games. They will be in the building. But busy time, but fun time. So that's what's going on with me. What's up, E? What you got going? Any new videos? Any new exploits? Who else is jumping off the roof? I can get some free stuff.
There's another one I'll tell you about offline. So I'm working on a video on that.
Keep the feds off us.
Yep. Gotta keep this one quiet because I haven't seen it that public yet. So no, honestly, I will try and sneak a video tour in this weekend, but I do have family in town, so Saturday and Sunday I'm pretty much out of commission. Monday I will be probably playing a decent amount of Diablo if I can squeeze some time in because I do want to get some work in on that. I don't know if your progress carries between. Not Monday, that's true. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to sneak in.
It's just 2 weekends. So
So next weekend apparently I'll let in the
Friday,
beta.
Saturday, Sunday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday the weekend after.
So Monday I might be in trials, amongst other things. But yeah, you guys have been really supportive on the channel. Thank you for all the views. Share the love there. And of course, if you guys enjoy the show, again, the likes, the positive reviews, and that stuff really helps us out. So go follow these gentlemen, go watch their content, go click on the reviews, and go give some stupid person in the comments a little bit of what for, but it's probably not worth your effort, so save your breath. Honestly, thank you guys for an amazing show. As always, you guys have been awesome. For episode number 241, it has been
the last word.